North Normal at like right by Heartland Community College. You guys are going to want to come on out here to to the Corn Crib. You guys are going to want to come on out here and donate to Seats for Soldiers. Wow, this is so exciting. We are. I mean, I think I'm tired. It's 36 hours live out here, and we are donating to Hope for the Warriors, collecting donations. It's the 6th annual Seats for Soldiers. You guys can see me live on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, all of the social medias. We have partnered with SEFCU, Tentec Enterprises, and the Wilbur Group for the 6th annual Seats for Soldiers. If you tune into the live stream, you're going to see the ball field behind me and all of the seats with the flag on the back of the chair. And each flag represents a $5 donation that was made. And what we're doing is we're saving seats for soldiers. So yesterday I talked a lot with a gentleman. He goes by the name of Justin, and Justin served in Iraq back in 2004, and he sat down and told me about his struggles with PTSD and how he lost a friend in combat. His friend was Eric Barr, and Eric Barr died in combat, and they had to tell his family, and he was telling me how he's struggled with PTSD. And it wasn't a Hope for Warriors nonprofit organization that he worked with. It was a similar nonprofit organization to Hope for the Warriors, but Hope for the Warriors, they work with people and they do PTSD counseling, and they provide necessary equipment for severely injured service members. So this is a great cause. Come on out and see me, Kat Peterson, on the Morning Buzz. I'm doing my show live from the Corn Crib, and make a donation, big or small. We'll take them all. Donations of $30. You get these really cool little tumblers. Shout out to Cherry Tumblers. The flags here behind me in the live stream, all these flags were donated from the VFW Post Auxiliary 454. Big thank you to McLean County Asphalt, Tax and Accounting Plus, Ace Hardware, and the Four Seasons Health Club. We're going to be out here until 6 p.m., all the way up until the Corn Belters play. They have a home game here tonight at the Corn Crib. And guys, if you come now, I can get you a t-shirt for $60 donation. Hope for the Warriors is a 4-star rated charity. I think we're close to 10 grand, which is nowhere near our goal, because I want to make more than $22,000, which is what we made last year for Hope for the Warriors. And they use that money to help 30 families right here in Central Illinois. Packed show for you today. First, let's get to a great movie, says former President Donald Trump, and he hosts a Sound of Freedom screening. And he was praising the filmmakers at this screening, and it was really cool. I can't wait to talk about Donald Trump hosting this. Joe Biden would never. He would never, folks. Next, Bud Light manages to find more bad news. Now that the bars and restaurants, the numbers are in, there's new reports talking about how the bars and restaurants took Bud Light out of their bar, out of their restaurant, and they are not keeping them in the coolers, folks. So Bud Light manages to find more bad news. They just can't catch a break. Later, a children's Star Wars entertainer. His name is Fluke Skywalker. He's kind of popular, folks. Now, he was recently arrested on child porn charges. He was kind of popular. His name was John Stevens. He worked with the Ronald McDonald charity, and he did entertainment for kids. It's truly sick. There was multiple appearances of his where he's like the legendary Jedi Knight, and he has actually been mistaken for the guy who actually plays Luke Skywalker. So we're going to get into all of that and more ahead on the Morning Buzz. And I am live out at the Corn Crib. You guys can come see me. We can have a chat. It'll be great. And you can make a donation to Hope for the Warriors. And if you'd like, if you can't come out, you can text the Jimmy John's text line. That's SEATS, SEATS, to 77,000. Be a part of this amazing event. And a big special thank you to our sponsors. That's McLean County Asphalt, Tax and Accounting Plus, Ace Hardware, and the Four Seasons Health Club, whom all made donations. So if you're watching on the live stream, just go ahead, smash that like button, smash it right now. All right, let's get into it. Corporate journalism, these journalismers, they are on a warpath, and they are attacking the movie Sound of Freedom for absolutely no reason. Get ready for them to cry more, because Donald Trump just hosted a screening at his golf club. It's in Bedminster, New Jersey. and it was just a screening, and he had all of the filmmakers there. This movie is about child sex trafficking, and it's based on a true story. Because of a lot of conservatives, and here's the thing, a lot of conservatives are happy with this movie because it is kicking Hollywood's butt. We're happy with the movie because it's so important and it talks about real issues, and the media just hates it, and they are mortified at how much money it is making. So Donald Trump, he got out there and he hosted this screening, and right on schedule, we have the Guardian headline this morning: Trump hosts screening of Sound of Freedom, a hit QAnon, a hit with QAnon devotees, right? So Trump screens Sound of Freedoms, seeking to rally evangelicals around fear of child trafficking, as if it doesn't exist, folks. The Sound of Freedom, I've seen it. A lot of you have seen it. Text me right now, 309-451-9299, if you've seen it, with your thoughts about the film. Sound of Freedom has a genuine core of righteousness, and it's better than most call to action films I've seen. This is dramatic, and it is painful to watch because it has to be, because real children need help now. And it does all this while giving us a heartfelt story. That's the thing. It calls you to action, and at the same time, it gives you this heartfelt story. And the media is lining up to hate it, folks, for whatever reason. I think it's just because we like it and it's beating Hollywood. All right, do want to shift gears. Bud Light, they won't stop getting hit with bad news. When are they going to catch a break? So we're going on 4 months of the Bud Light boycott since they made the worst marketing decision in history. This was the worst marketing decision in history. The hits keep coming. Anheuser-Busch, the water. I honestly say that Bud Light is the Anheuser-Busch water. It does not taste good. I don't like Anheuser-Busch water. That's what I call Bud Light, but it identifies as beer. Okay, so it's okay. It's water that identifies as beer. And it's no longer the most popular beer in America, and it's being served in bars and restaurants. It's no longer being served in some bars and restaurants. So there was a report that came out that shows that a lot of bars and restaurants are not serving Bud Light anymore. Of course not. If it's not going to sell, you're not going to serve it anymore. Now, Bud Light is not even the top 3 in the country. So they went down. Newsweek's got the report from 1 to 4. So Bud Light is the number 4 beer in America. It was the number 1 beer sold in bars and restaurants in the first quarter of 2023. Then the company decided to sign on a guy who identifies as a prepubescent girl who sings show tunes about his bulge and his pants on TikTok. Right? So they went ahead, signed this guy. Worst marketing decision ever. Now they are behind Miller Lite. Miller Lite is number 1. Michelob Ultra, they're number 2. Coors Light is number 3. This is huge. The biggest drop-offs here, I'm looking at the report. It looks like they were in Texas, South Carolina, and North Carolina. Now, the smallest drop-off, I'm not shocked. It's in California. That's the smallest drop-off. So I don't know at this point. And somebody told me this. They were like, Kat, I just think that they need to rebrand and become the gay beer. Right? They need to rebrand and like completely just go for it. But get this, I don't think they're going to do that. They're not going to rebrand. They're not going to revamp anything because they don't care. The global CEO is still making a ton of money. His name, oh gosh, I don't know his name. He's like the global CEO. And I mean, he says that the Bud Light sales represented about 1% of the company's global sales volume. So the Bud Light sales in America only represent 1% of the global sales. And that tells you all you really need to know, folks. They don't give a crap about middle America. They don't give a crap about America. The global CEO of Anheuser-Busch came out and he goes, I don't care. It's 1%. I'm still making my millions and billions of dollars. And I know you're thinking, if you haven't heard anything about the controversy here surrounding Bud Light, You must live in a cave, but I've got a breakdown for you here on Cities 92.9, the news and talk of Bloomington Normal. You're like, Kat, you sound a little off. You sound a little different. Yes, that's because I'm live at the Corn Crib. The sun is rising. It's on my face right now. You can see me live in the Corn Crib here with the ball field behind me and all these wonderful flags. Each of these flags represents a $5 donation to Hope for the Warriors. Hope for the Warriors is a national nonprofit helping veterans with scholarships, with job trainings, with PTSD counseling. They do a lot, and we are nowhere near our goal. I want to get to over 22,000, and I think we're about 10,000 right now. It would be great if you guys could come out this hour. I'm challenging you to come out the 6 o'clock hour here at the Corn Crib on a Friday morning, skip the coffee, and instead donate a $5 bill to Hope for the Warriors. I'm encouraging you to do that today. A big thank you to Tax and Accounting Plus, the Four Seasons Health Club, McLean County Asphalt, and Ace Hardware. There are supporting sponsors. You can also text in your donation. You don't have to make an in-person donation. A text will do. Text the word seats, SEATS, to 77,000. That's our Jimmy John's text line. And you can even donate on our website. That's cities929.com. We've been broadcasting 36 hours straight. I'm exhausted. I'm tired, but it's worth it because this is an amazing cause and it's worth staying up. It's worth hanging up those flags. It's worth the sticky tape. I'm putting tape on the backs of these seats and my fingers are just so sticky from the tape still. And we've hung up a lot of flags. If you want to be a volunteer and hang up a flag. So yesterday I talked extensively with a veteran. He served in Iraq back in 2004. Tragic story. He talked about his alcoholism. He talked about his PTSD. He talked a lot about how he wanted to change his life around for his daughter. And he said PTSD is an unforgiving disease. And an organization like Hope for the Warriors, it wasn't Hope for the Warriors exactly, but he came out here and he started hanging up flags because he knows the great work that Hope for the Warriors does. And he knows that Hope for the Warriors transitions veterans back from military or back to civilian life from military life, which is one of these biggest obstacles that these veterans face. So we are going to be taking a break here pretty shortly. When we come back, I am going to explain that Bud Light controversy. If you guys live in a cave and if you haven't heard about it, I think that we need a recap of everything that has happened with Bud Light. I've always been a big drink local gal before it was even cool, before it became a conservative talking point, right? I always was pushing drink local. I think that that's a big plus if you drink local. So we're going to come back and we're going to talk about that. Plus, I've got a few more stories, including this guy who dresses up as a Jedi and he was charged with child pornography. That's next on the Morning Buzz, Cities 92.9.
This news is being brought to you by...
The news is brought to you by me, Ryan Scritzlow of Scritzlow Slabjacking. Here's some news. Most people wait until they trip and fall on sunken concrete before they call me. So call me before that happens, and I'll level with you on how to fix it.
Groups still continue their opposition to that CO2 pipeline for Central Illinois. Greg Bishop has the story.
Earlier this week, proponents and opponents of a planned multi-state pipeline traversing more than a dozen Illinois counties met in Springfield. State Senator Steve McClure was there.
Certainly the crowd was largely against the pipeline, and
the Morning Buzz. Thanks so much for tuning in, and you can see me live on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter. You can tune in, and behind me, you'll be able to see the ball field and all of these amazing flags, each flag out here at the Corn Crib. It's right next to Heartland Community College. It's not too late, folks, to drop off your donation to Kat Peterson, your host of the morning show here on Cities 92.9. You can drop off $5. What $5 does, it marks a seat here saved for a veteran who might not have been able to come home or who is coming home. Freedom isn't free, and this is our opportunity through this 36-hour live broadcast on Cities 92.9. I'm tired. We've been broadcasting 36 hours to try to get donations. We're nowhere near our goal, so we need you to come on out and donate at just $5. Skip the coffee today. Donate $5 out here at the Corn Crib. It's for a great cause. Hope for the Warriors is a 4-star rated charity, and they are helping provide a full cycle of care to restore self, family, and hope to post 9/11 service members and their families and the families of the fallen. And they help out with things like PTSD counseling. They get you trained in a job. They transition you from military life back to civilian life. And I will never forget it. I was talking to a veteran one time, and he was telling me how even a trip to Walmart is tough for him, because he'll go in and he's in the Walmart and he's in this heightened state, like he's back and deployed. He was deployed in Afghanistan, right? And he's in this heightened state, and he can't seem to get out of this heightened state. And Hope for the Warriors specializes in care for veterans to transition them back to civilian life, which is a huge obstacle a lot of brave men and women face. So Hope for the Warriors, they believe no one should be left behind. A big special thank you to McLean County Asphalt, Tax and Accounting Plus, Ace Hardware, and the Four Seasons Health Club. Big shout out to them. They're our supporting sponsors. We've teamed up with other guys too. Tech Enterprises, Miller Lite, Wilbur Group, SEFQ. We've teamed up with them, and this is our 6th one. And this is, so incredibly exciting to see people come out and they just drop off $200 and they say, you know what, I don't need it. If you drop off $200, that gets you a t-shirt. You can get a tumbler. We have commemorative t-shirts and tumblers, $30 donation for the tumblers, cherry tumblers, and then a $60 donation for the commemorative t-shirt. Again, we're out at the Corn Crib. We're going to be here until 6 p.m. today, right before the Corn Belters home game. Be a part of this amazing event as we support those who served this country, and we're giving back to the people who were willing to make the ultimate sacrifice. Now, folks, before we took the break, we were talking a little bit about Bud Light. And, if you live under a rock, I guess I've got to explain the Bud Light controversy to you. You can text in at 309-451-9299. Have you given up Bud Light since they hired Dylan Mulvaney, the trans TikToker, the man who sings show tunes about his genitals and how they look awesome in leather shorts? So number one thing that you got to know about the Bud Light controversy is that as a part of the Bud Light's NCAA tournament coverage, and to appeal to people who don't like either for some reason, someone at Bud Light decided to work with the performer Dylan Mulvaney, who is a trans TikToker, a very controversial figure. He was invited to the White House and spoke with President Joe Biden about how it's important to mutilate the genitals of children. So Bud Light hired him to promote some sort of NCAA tournament. They made a can with his face on it, and he was doing some sort of brand deal with Bud Light. Now, the former VP of marketing is responsible for that. She took responsibility. She made it clear on a podcast how much she hated Bud Light's loyal fan base by lashing out at them and saying that they were too fratty and that they were too out of touch. Okay, so she went on a podcast, she doubled down, and she told everybody how much she hates Bud Light's loyal fan base by saying, you know what, they're too fratty. Never mind the fact that the VP of marketing, who was responsible for hiring Dylan Mulvaney, has been seen licking a toilet. Number 3, fans from across the spectrum, not just the extreme right, fans from across the spectrum decided that this was woke pandering from a company that hates them. Okay, and they said enough is enough, and now Bud Light is no longer the number 1 beer. So this morning it came out that Bud Light is number 4. They are number 4 in America, and they fell out of the top 10 most popular in the world. So they're number 4 in America, but they fell out of the top 10 for most popular in the world. The drop off in bars and restaurants is a huge deal. That's probably what drove them to that number 4 spot. Like I said, I'm a big drink local girl. I was a drink local girl before it was cool, before it was a conservative talking point. And, I remember people saying, they couldn't think of a beer, and they would just say, give me a Bud Light. Just give me a Bud Light. Now that's not happening. Customers are now going for every other, I can't think of something, beer. They go for the other ones like Coors Light, Miller Lite, right? And Bud Light used to be the thing that people would say if they couldn't think of a beer that they wanted just off the cuff. So again, Anheuser-Busch's water that identifies as a beer, Bud Light, that has gone down to number 4. Coming up, we are going to be talking about the shocking discovery made by the New York Post. A man who used to cosplay for children as Luke Skywalker has been arrested and charged with several counts of possessing pornography. That's next, and we've got a few more things coming up here on the Morning Buzz.
Cities 92-second news brought to you by
I'm Kim Howard.
A Streeter man was arrested on child pornography charges Thursday, according to a press release from the LaSalle County Sheriff's Office. Jacob T. Tasminski, 34, was arrested on 2 counts. He's currently being held in the LaSalle County Jail. Rivian is planning to open its first showroom in Chicago. They'll do it right there on the Gold Coast at 871 North Rush Street. It's called Space. Rivian's Chicago showroom is set to launch in September, following a similar opening in New York City just last month. News on the air, on the web, on your app, and on Alexa. I'm Tom Davis.
Here's the Bloomington Normal Forecast on Cities 92.9.
I'm staff meteorologist John Weatherby. 20% chance of showers and thunderstorms, mainly before noon. Then mostly sunny with widespread haze from those distant Canadian wildfires, high of 80.
The weather's being brought to you by Wireless Data Net. Stop putting up with a crappy job when you could work at Wireless Data Net. They're looking for ambitious go-getters. To apply online, go to Indeed.com.
The Fox Business Report is from INB's new Lockbox Lite, making it easier for businesses to get their banking done.
I'm Neil Cavuto, and this is the Fox Business Report.
A major regional bank, Regions Financial, the Alabama-based bank, is holding up even better than expected. Its profit matched forecasts in the recent quarter, but revenue topped predictions. Though deposits fell, its loan business increased. Google co-founder Sergey Brin is back at the company. The Wall Street Journal says he's working along artificial intelligence researchers at Google headquarters, helping to develop its Gemini AI system. Global retailers are hoping to cash in on the Barbie movie debuting today. Zara launched a Barbie collection this week. With children's garments and accessories, it also has a collection for adult women. H&M, Primark, Gap, and Crocs are among those launching Barbie collections. Hyatt Hotels and Hilton are offering Barbie-themed hotel suites. That's your Fox Business Report. I'm Jeannie Coselda, invested in you.
Hey, it's Jesse Kelly. When a restaurant closes, my reaction is, that sucks. They had good steak. When regional banks close, or 3 of them close overnight, it freaks me out. This is why I have my own personal gold reserve. It's part of my personal protection plan. Call my friends at Oxford Gold Group. Call 833-404-GOLD. 833-404-GOLD. That's 833-404-GOLD.
Are you ready for a revolution? How about a new Revolution Series battery-powered commercial mower from Toro? These new Toro units feature super quiet operation and a runtime from 7 to 9 hours. They also have substantially reduced maintenance requirements and much lower costs per hour of operation for commercial contractors. We have the first model in this Revolution Series now in stock. Come in and see the battery-powered Revolution from Toro at Nord Outdoor Power. You can find directions, hours, and more at nordoutdoorpower.com.
Your spot for summer fun is Barrel House. Stop in for happy hour specials from 3 to 6, Monday through Friday, featuring half-price drafts and $3.50 well drinks. Try the Barrel House's own signature beer, Island Time. The patio is open daily. Trivia night is on Tuesday, and now the Barrel House is open on Sundays. Food, drinks, fun. You'll have food that lifts your spirits at the Barrel House, 9 Brickyard Drive, and like them on Facebook.
A Tentac Enterprise.
Remember what you were doing 4 years ago at this very moment, and how much everything changed a year later. We don't live just anywhere. We live on a crowded island with daily news headlines that make our ancestors spin in their graves. And we all know that tougher days lie ahead. So the real question is, do you have a proper supply of emergency food on hand? If not, now's the time to get some, while things are still relatively calm. The company most Americans choose is My Patriot Supply. Go to MyPatriotSupply.com to get yourself a 1-week supply of emergency food. It comes in a nifty ammo can that's loaded with delicious meals you'll love. No skimping with these meals, as you'll get 2,000 calories per day.
I just tried to call
You'll like the
Ferris
special
again.
$30 savings available this week only on this 1-week supply of emergency food, too. Go to MyPatriotSupply.com and prepare for
call
what's
Kevin
coming.
again.
MyPatriotSupply.com.
Hey, it's Glenn Beck, and Cities 92.9 is making a difference in the community. So support the programs by streaming on the Cities 92.9 app, available on Google Play and the App Store.
Vivek Ramaswamy and Ron DeSantis tied in a national poll. What? So Ramaswamy and Ron DeSantis, they're sitting at 12% report. Both of them tied among likely Republican voters. This poll just came out. Hey, it is the Morning Buzz. Thanks so much for tuning in. I so do appreciate it. And I'm live out here at the Corn Crib. If you want to see me, it's right next to the Heartland Community College in North Normal. What you can do is come on out and donate just $5. $5 is going to get you a flag placed on a seat behind me here, and you can see me live on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, Instagram, Rumble. You guys can see me live there. And right behind me, these flags all represent just a $5 donation, and we are saving seats for veterans who might not have been able to come home and for veterans who are coming home. So come on out, make a $5 donation. Big thank you to McLean County Asphalt, Tax and Accounting Plus, Ace Hardware, and the Four Seasons Health Club. If you don't want to come out in person and make a donation, you can text the word SEATS, SEATS, to 77,000. Be a part of this amazing event as we support those who have served this country. We've also partnered with CEFCU, Tentac Enterprises, Miller Lite, and the Wilbur Group for this 36-hour broadcast. I'm tired. We've been broadcasting for quite some time. I'm a little tired, but it's so worth it because it's a great cause, and it's worth it to come out here and even put up a flag. So that brings me to this. We're going to play a clip here in just a second. I'm going to set this up for you. Justin, he served in Iraq back in 2004. And what he did was come out here to the Corn Crib yesterday, and he was hanging up flags, and he specifically hung up a flag for his buddy, Eric Barr. He had him on his keychain. It was a picture. And Justin tells me about his struggles with alcoholism. He was self-medicating with alcoholism to deal with his PTSD. He served in Iraq. He had an issue with his brain as well. I think it's called TBI is what he was telling me, something about his brain after a blast really impacted him. So he's a disabled veteran. He comes out here, he hangs up a flag for his buddy, Eric Barr. I sat down with him and we did an entire interview together. We're going to play that interview for you here right now on the Morning Buzz. All right, folks, I think that is the conclusion of the interview.
I knew about somebody in the Marine Corps right after high school. I did not know that there was going to be that on 9/11. I was in boot camp at September 11, 2001, and training ceased that day for us. Drill instructors put us under the thunder domes, and basically said, "Come here. If any of you recruits have families living here in New York City, come forward."
All right, folks. It sounds like that interview went a little bit longer than what we played here on air, but we will be coming back here shortly. I got to take a quick break. We're going to be coming back Again, it's the 6th annual Seats for Soldiers. We sat down with Justin and he talked with us about how he struggles with PTSD and how he received help and how he came out here yesterday and he put some flags out on the seats back here behind me if you're watching on the live stream at the Corn Crib, and he was hanging up flags. Each flag marks a $5 donation to Hope for the Warriors. We're broadcasting 36 hours to try to get as many donations as possible. Come on out to the Corn Crib or donate using our freaky fast Jimmy John's text line. Text the word SEATS, SEATS, to 77,000. We're going to be right back on Cities 92.9. Cities 92.9. It's getting quiet out here at the ballpark.
Require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate. Restrictions apply. See website for details and important safety information. Subscription required. Price varies based on product and subscription plan.
Hey guys, did you know there's a generic form of Viagra that works just the same, but is 95% cheaper?
Sorry about
and
that,
you can
Kat.
get it
He had
online. Just go to
he had an
forhims.com/joy. Through Hims, you'll
Can
get
you
a
hear
free
me?
medical consultation, discreet shipping if prescribed,
Yes,
a
I can
100%
hear you.
online process,
Okay, he had
and
an
trusted
overnight
generic
Karen in there.
alternatives to the
Yeah,
name brand.
I
That's
was supposed to delete them.
95%
I missed
Right.
one.
Get
So
generic
they
for
were
Viagra.
in there.
The
I
same
missed
active
one.
ingredient as brand name Viagra, but for
Yeah, I
95%
deleted them this morning,
less.
but I
It's the
must have
same
missed that one.
medication, still prescribed by a
All right, so
licensed
anyway,
medical
Ferris is
provider,
awake, as
but
you
with
know from the
zero
text,
copay,
and,
no expensive
I told him to
appointments,
come
and
out
no
here, so I
awkward
don't know when he'll
face-to-face
get here, but
conversations.
when he does,
To start your free online visit, you need to go to this exclusive address, forhims.com/joy.
you have about 9
That's
minutes left on that interview. It looks like it's
forhims.com/joy
about
for your
18,
free
19
online
minutes.
visit. forhins.com/joy.
The news is being brought to you by Tax and Accounting Plus. Focus on growing your business and servicing your customers while Tax and Accounting Plus handles your payroll and bookkeeping.
We are on the live stream still, folks. We're on the live stream. Thanks so much for tuning in. Smash that like button. We're dealing with some technical things.
The charges allege that Bones and another suspect, Brian Burnett, fired a gun at a car knowing it was occupied and caused bodily harm to the victim. Bones is in the McLean County Jail on $500,000 bond. Burnett is in a state prison serving a sentence on a separate case. Groups continue to oppose a CO2 pipeline for central Illinois. Greg Bishop reports.
Earlier this week, proponents and opponents of a planned multi-state pipeline traversing more than a dozen Illinois counties met in Springfield. State Senator Steve McClure was there.
Well, certainly the crowd was largely against the pipeline, and really the concerns of the public were about safety. What if the pipeline ruptures?
Professional sports to publicly come out as gay, telling Outsports.com he made the decision because he didn't want to hide who he is any longer and possibly inspire others in similar situations. I'm Chris Murphy, Cities 92.9 Sports.
In the car, in the office, in the fields, or in your basement, it doesn't matter where you're working. Thanks for making Cities 92.9 a part of your workday. .com.
Working 9 to 5, what a way to make a living.
Good morning. Hey, this is Cities 92.9, the news and talk of Bloomington Normal. We're here at the 6th annual Seats for Soldiers event. And you guys are going to want to come out here like my friend Brian. He just donated $100. I'm challenging you to match his donation. Brian, we met actually, I think it was at the Over the Edge, and we propelled together. He was fast, folks. We propelled together down the Marriott, and I remember this. Big shout out to the Child Protection Network. We are going to be getting to a story here about a man, and I'm sorry I have to do this to you, but he is a cosplay like Luke Skywalker, and he is a children's Star Wars entertainer. He goes by the name Fluke Skywalker, and he was arrested on child pornography charges. Big yikes. John Stevens, sicko, who goes by the name of Fluke Skywalker. He entertains kids, and he made multiple appearances, and he's kind of popular, folks. He was a big charity guide for Ronald McDonald, so we are going to be getting to that story here shortly. Like I said, I'm out at the Corn Crib, and Brian came and made a $100 donation. I'm challenging you to match it this hour, the 7 o'clock hour. That's the second hour of the show. Now, you can also donate via our text line. That's our Freaky Fast Jimmy John's text line. Text the word SEATS, S-E-A-T-S, to 77,000. That's a real easy way to donate. And like I said, the Hope for the Warriors Foundation, and I would not be telling you guys this if I haven't seen it with my own eyes here in Central Illinois. They've donated medical equipment to severely injured veterans. I talked with Justin yesterday. Now, it wasn't Hope for the Warriors. He said it was a different nonprofit organization who helped him get back on his feet, but he told me about his struggles with alcoholism and how one day, and he said, I'll never forget it, my little girl looked at me and she said, Dad, are you ever going to drive again? And that's when his life turned around. He reached out for help the next day through a nonprofit like Hope for the Warriors. It wasn't Hope for the Warriors, but he appreciates everything Hope for the Warriors does because he knows the good work that they do as well. And he came out here, and I'm not kidding you, he spent, I don't know, a couple of hours hanging up flags with us. And you guys can do that too. You can come on out, hang up a flag. Maybe you don't have the money to make a big old donation. I get it. But folks, I want you to come out and be a part of this amazing event. Hang up a flag, save a seat for a soldier to come home. That's the cue to wrap things up for this hour, folks. Now, I am going to be back. We've got so much to talk about. Vivek Ramaswamy and Ron DeSantis tied in a national poll. Well, who saw that coming? Me, I called it 2 weeks ago, folks. I said Vivek was going to surpass Ron DeSantis in the polling. So we're going to be talking about that. Plus, I do want to chat a little bit about Bud Light coming in as the number 4 beer in America. More bad news for that. They just can't catch a break, I'm telling you. We'll be back in just a bit, and be sure to come on out to the Corn Crib, make an in-person donation like my friend Brian, who made a $100 donation, match Brian's donation, and get a t-shirt and a tumbler for your donation.
You've seen the McLean County asphalt.
Department of Employment Security Acting Director Ray Marchiori.
This is the sixth consecutive month with gains in new jobs. The unemployment rate has fallen again to 4%, the lowest been since the pandemic began in February of 2020. And we've exceeded pre-pandemic private sector payroll job levels.
Industry sectors with the largest job gains from May to June are educational and health services.
News on the air, on the web, on your app, and on Alexa. I'm Tom Davis.
Here's the Bloomington Normal Forecast on Cities 92.9.
I'm staff meteorologist John Weatherby. Partly sunny, high of 80, mostly clear 60 tonight. 20% chance of afternoon showers and thunderstorms, 83 tomorrow. 30% chance of storms Sunday.
The weather is being brought to you by Brad Worth from Country Financial.
You need coverage that's affordable because we all have a budget. Protect the future you're working for with me, Brad Worth, your local Country Financial representative.
From the Johns in Lexington studios, if you're an experienced body shop technician who is looking to grow your career, join Johns in Lexington. We're growing. To join the team, apply in person at Johns in Lexington. The Morning Buzz with Kat Peterson. This is your hometown conservative talk show that examines today's stories through a brand new lens. This is The Morning Buzz, brought to you by McLean County Asphalt. They've been repairing driveways for more than 50 years. The Morning Buzz with Kat Peterson on Cities 92.9.
Imagine sacrificing 23 years for your country. Well, that's exactly what Brian did. And he was a Marine officer. He's married to a Marine officer. And he served this wonderful country of ours. Freedom isn't free. And there's sacrifices that men and women, brave men and women, make in order for us to be able to go and have a picnic and to go to the grocery store anytime we want and grab a pint of ice cream. You can't do that in Syria when you're serving as an anesthesiologist for 16 years. You can't do that when you're serving and fighting in the Persian Gulf War and in Desert Storm, like my friend Brian, who came out and he donated $100. That's going to put a lot of flags up this morning here at the Corn Crib. Hey, this is the Morning Buzz, and I'm Kat Peterson. Thanks so much for joining me here, 7:06 a.m. You can text in 309-451-9299. Now, I've got a question for you. Vivek Ramaswamy or Ron DeSantis? Throw it in the comment section if you're watching live on YouTube, Facebook, Rumble, Twitter, and throw it into the text messages here. I've got my phone on me. You can text me at 309-451-9299. Just give me a quick Vivek or Ron, because they are now tied in this national poll. I called it about a couple of weeks ago. I knew it was going to happen, and it's happened, folks. We are going to be getting to that story. Plus, children's Star Wars entertainer. He was a popular dude, and he was arrested on child pornography charges. And, you know, Tom Davis in the newscast there, he was telling you about it's everywhere. It's in Streeter. It's in Bloomington Normal. It's in it's in the nation. And this guy, John Stevens, a sicko, he made multiple appearances throughout the nation as this legendary Jedi Knight, and he was cosplaying really for kids at like birthday parties and things like that. So I am going to be getting to that story. But first, I've got to tell you about Seats for Soldiers. I'm out here at the Corn Crib. You can come donate in person, like the former Marine and veteran Brian. He came out and he donated $100 this morning. And you guys can come out and donate. Ryan McKenzie, he donated $30, so he's going to be getting a tumbler here. He donated over $30, so he's going to be getting a tumbler from Cherry Tumblers. I'm looking at all these amazing flags at the stadium here at the Corn Crib, and each flag marks $5 donated to this amazing nonprofit. It's called Hope for the Warriors. And we were playing that interview for you. Justin was out here. He's a veteran. He was serving in Iraq in 2004. He was telling me about his PTSD, alcoholism, and I will never forget Justin's story because it just brought tears to my eyes about how he has fought to get over his PTSD. And he came out here to hang up some flags for a buddy of his. His name was Eric Barr, and he died in combat. And Justin, he kept a little keychain, and it was a picture of them both deployed out in Iraq. And it was on his keychain, on his car keys, that he now gets to drive his car around after being, I think he's about 18 months sober, something around there. He was 18 months sober, and he was dealing with alcoholism because he was trying to treat his PTSD with alcohol. And that is not something that is good. That's what he was telling me, that it just is an unforgiving disease. And people like Hope for the Warriors, they specialize in transitioning you back to civilian life if you're a veteran. So be sure to come on out, make a donation. Big thank you to McLean County Asphalt, love them. Tax and Accounting Plus, Rick Johnson, my boy, Ace Hardware, Four Seasons Health Club. I think Tony's coming out today to give us a big old check from Four Seasons Health Club, and I can't wait to see him. And thank you to SEFQ, 10 Tech Enterprises, Miller Lite, and Wilbur Group. This would not be possible without them. They're our title sponsors. They're putting it on with us. So be sure to make donations either in person here at the Corn Crib in North Normal, or you can text the word SEATS, SEATS, to 77,000. This is, gosh, how many hours are we in? Like, we're halfway through, like 18 hours, 19. I don't know. I'm not a mathematician, but I'm tired. And it's a 36-hour broadcast. We'll be here until 6 p.m. today at the Corn Crib for the Corn Belters home game, all the way up until then. So come on out for the game and make a donation. It's Cities 92.9, the news and talk of Bloomington Normal. And like I said, I wanted to get into this story. This children's Star Wars entertainer. This is deeply disturbing. His name is John Stevens, and like you heard Tom Davis, he was talking about people charged with child pornography. This is a big problem. And I saw the movie Sound of Freedom, and it starts with a child pornographer, and he's consuming images of child porn. And it starts there. That's what, the Tim Ballard character says. He says it starts there, and then they take it a step further, and then they traffic children into the country to be consumed by people in America. I mean, this is just truly sick. The United States is the number one consumer of child sex trafficking. Our nation is. So this was a shocking discovery made by the New York Post. This just in, a man who cosplayed for children as Luke Skywalker has been arrested and charged with several counts of possessing child porn. And he was arrested. I mean, his name is John Stevens. And I didn't really know anything too much about this guy, but turns out he's a huge guy, like in the charity world. And I guess his charges are pandering sexually oriented material involving a minor. And he would play this Jedi Knight. And he's facing these charges under Ohio law. So he's mainly based out of Ohio, although he goes to like cosplay things all throughout the nation. Officials stated that the evidence of Stevens' crimes, this is his name, John Stevens, the evidence that they found on his phone, quote, showed a very young female child and children, multiple, who were engaging in sex acts with adult men. And they said these sex acts it was rape, and he had possession of this. Prosecutors said that Stephen's phone contained 3 videos, 5 images of acts too profane to say out loud. And what he would do was advertise and dress up as this Jedi. And he provided things on his website, like his services, where he would go and perform at children's like birthday parties. And he's been mistaken for Mark Hamill. Like his cosplaying was like given all kinds of awards, and he was at the 2016 California Comic-Con, and they believed he was the real Mark Hamill who played Luke Skywalker in that film. And this is on his website. This is truly disturbing. He says, when you have me attend your child's or adult's birthday party, fundraiser, company party, or special event, I will donate 100% of your donation to local charities that help sick children. The reason why I'm bringing you this story today, folks, wolf in sheep's clothing. God's children are not for sale. And this guy was taking people's money, and he was raping little girls, and he was taking people's money And he was, this big charity guy and blah, blah, blah. And he was donating to the Ronald McDonald House and other local charities. That's what his site reads. And you got to be careful of these people. They're everywhere. And I'm sure you heard the news this morning. It was out in Streeter, some child pornography charges. I do want to shift gears. Vivek Ramaswamy, Ron DeSantis tied in a national poll. So Vivek Ramaswamy, Ron DeSantis sitting at 12%, both of them right now. I called it, folks. I knew it. Now, Vivek Ramaswamy is so cool. He's a tech entrepreneur. He's definitely my second choice. Ron DeSantis and he are tied. This was a poll released by Kaplan Strategies. It's a pretty decent poll. I wouldn't say the best. I like the Morning Consult because it's more like a lot of lefties use that one too. This one is a little right-leaning. Now, Ramaswamy has seen a huge surge as of lately. And why is that? Because he sat down with Tucker Carlson and he came prepared. And Mike Pence is still licking his wounds, I'm telling you right now, after having that interview with Tucker Carlson there in Iowa. But Vivek Ramaswamy vowed that he was going to gut the administrative state. This is why he is soaring above Ron DeSantis. Ron DeSantis is not coming out against this administrative state, the bureaucracies, and I think that's hurting him. I really do. And I think that he's trying to be like an off-brand Trump, and Ron DeSantis just isn't running his own campaign. Now, they're all pulling in this poll that I've got. It's a national poll, and they've got them both sitting at 12%. Trump still holds a commanding lead at 48%. This is interesting because we know that they're going to try to invoke the 14th Amendment, and they're going to try to knock Donald Trump off of that ballot in all 50 states. I'm telling you right now, they're not just looking to indict and to convict. They want to knock him off of the ballot. They're going to claim that he is guilty of insurrection and rebellion against the government here in the United States. And that's what they're going to try to do to knock him off of the ballot. Now, there was also a straw poll that was conducted at Turning Point Action. This was a conference in West Palm Beach. Our very own Kev Ferris, he was out there on the ground. He got to talk to Vivek Ramaswamy, and while Trump received 85% of the vote there, those are likely young Republican voters, younger. Vivek Ramaswamy managed to best Ron DeSantis with over 50%. Okay, so he just was flying ahead of Ron DeSantis with this poll that came out of the Turning Point Action conference in West Palm Beach. So point is, the reason why I wanted to bring you this story, I knew it, I called it, and I foresee Vivek. Now, he has already said that he doesn't want a cabinet position. I think Vivek is doing this, is going out there running his campaign, and he wants that VP slot. So it's going to be an interesting race. But I also want to tell you a little bit about the New York Stock Exchange. Okay, so there's chance of USA erupting from the New York Stock Exchange. And if this was on the floor, and you can tell Jim Cramer, and there was a video out there and an audio clip, there was Public Square. So Public Square is like, it's a really interesting company. So it's almost like an aggregator for conservative businesses. So if you guys haven't heard of Public Square, it's it's a non-woke business, and they are the largest network of non-woke businesses in America. They went public, and they went for the New York Stock Exchange. And this is what Seifert, that's his name, Michael Seifert. I've talked with him before on this program. Actually, a year ago is when Public Square really kind of launched. So it was founded in January of 2020. And then I think a year ago, actually, to date, I talked with Michael about the goal of creating a marketplace for companies with patriotic values. Now, Public Square hosts about 55,000 businesses and over 1 million active consumers of the site. So I like what Michael has to say here. He says, clearly, this is a very large, unaddressed market in the United States that feels like in an era of sort of woke and progressive corporatism, they're not being talked to. And this is why they were chanting USA on the stock exchange floor. And I mean, this is just beautiful. Jim Cramer's face is hilarious. You guys are going to want to have to go look up that video. Jim Cramer, he's just like losing his mind. He's like, oh my gosh, they're chanting USA, USA. All right, I have to take a break, but I'm here live out at the Corn Crib. If you want to make a donation to Hope for the Warriors, you can text the word SEATS, SEATS, to 77,000. That's our Jimmy John's text line. Or you can come out in person and make a donation. Just $5 get you a flag on the back of the seat here in the crib. I'll be back on the other side. This is Cities 92.9.
The news is being brought to you by the Deep End Tap and Eastland Suites. Unwind tonight with drink specials and some local brews at the Deep End.
got cat style.
36 hours we've been broadcasting here from the Corn Crib, and man, it is worth it. Every flag that is out here, every flag that we hang up, $5 donation, it gets you a flag on one of these chairs back here in the Corn Crib, and we are donating that money to Hope for the Warriors. It's a nonprofit organization, and they do great work. They do PTSD counseling. They give medical equipment to those who are severely injured, our brave men and women who signed on that dotted line. And, you know, they work and they specialize to transition veterans from military life back to civilian life. So a big thank you to our sponsors, McLean County Asphalt, Four Seasons Health Club, Tax and Accounting Plus, and Ace Hardware. And this wouldn't be possible without CEFCU, Tentac Enterprises, Miller Lite, and the Wilbur Group. The 6th annual Seats for Soldiers event. This is the Morning Buzz with your host, Kat Peterson and Kev. Kev, good morning. How are you?
I'm doing my best, Kat. Oh, there we go. Now I'm on the radio. Everybody, I'm doing my best. Kat, you killed me yesterday and waking up that early, but I am, despite sleeping through alarms and calls, I am here now, and I'm happy to be here because I'm here for such a great cause. Everybody, don't forget to text SEATS to 77,000 to donate today and put a flag on the back of one of those seats and support our troops.
And guess who put a bunch of flags out on the seats here at the Corn Crib? His name is Ed, and he's here with me. Ed was actually telling me about how he had a horrible drive into work yesterday because he had to be rerouted from I-74 because there was an accident. They closed it down. I told you guys about that a little bit yesterday. But Ed, you came out and you donated, and you put a lot of flags out there. You put a lot of flags on a lot of seats at the Corn Crib here in North Normal. And I just wanted to ask you, why come out and donate today?
Well, I'm a veteran, and I was in the Air Force, and I understand that our brave men and women went through a lot more than I did because they served after 9/11, where I served before. And so they need this help. And so I was just wanting to help.
Yeah, you know, and I was talking with Justin a little bit yesterday, and he was saying, you know, how he was serving in Iraq and how he was actually in boot when 9/11 happened, and they called them all in and they all sat down and they said, you know, anybody who has family living in New York, step out. And it was about 12 people. And he goes, the rest of you guys are going to probably be deployed here in the coming days, about 90% of you. And he said, you're going to be deployed out there. Thank you for your service, Ed. Tell me a little bit about your service. When did you serve and what was your job?
I served from 88 to 96. I was what they call an aerospace ground mechanic. And basically everything that services the aircraft, I worked on. So anything on the ground that they needed to use for the aircraft. So anything from gas and turbo diesel engines to jet turbines, generators, electric heat, you name it.
Wow. Thanks so much for your service, Ed. And thanks for your donation today. I so do appreciate it. Anything else you'd like to add?
No, I'm good.
Good. Awesome, Ed. Thanks so much for coming out and donating. Folks, we have so much to get to. There are a few things that I want to get to here coming up in just a bit. We're going to be taking a break here in just a minute. I do want to play some clips from the New York Stock Exchange because there were a chants of USA on the New York Stock Exchange floor. Why? Because Public Square went public. Patriotism was on full display there yesterday morning. And you know who couldn't have it? Our boy, Jim Cramer. You know, I'm not a financial advisor, so do not take any of my financial advice. Disclaimer, disclaimer, disclaimer. But if I was doing some financial investments, I would do everything the opposite that Jim Cramer says, and I would probably make a ton of money. But Jim Cramer, you could see it on his face. He was losing his mind, and I'm sure he's never heard USA chants on the New York Stock Exchange floor before. So we are going to be talking about that. The CNBC analyst Jim Cramer, he literally recoiled while having his broadcast drowned out by this patriotic chant. He and his co-host attempted to continue speaking, but even shouting couldn't overpower the sounds of the crowd. So I am going to be back here, folks. This is the Morning Buzz. Be sure to text in your donations to 77,000. Text the word seats. That's our Jimmy John's text line.
This news is being brought to you by.
The news is brought to you by me, Ryan Scritchlow of Scritchlow Slabjack. Here's some news. Most people wait until they trip and fall on sunken concrete before they call me. So call me before that happens, and I'll level with you.
Hello.
Kenyon Bones, 21 from Bloomington, appeared in McLean.
Turn off the radio
After a
real
grand
quick.
jury in April indicted him.
There we go. Awesome. Hey. We're going to get me out of solo mode, I think. I don't know. Here.
I can do this.
There you go. All right. Hey, Kev Ferris. How are you? Good morning. Good
Yeah.
morning.
Awake. I'm sorry that I wasn't awake at 5 a.m. this morning. It just,
That's okay. I tried to wake you up.
I
did.
know. I saw the.
I
10
tried to wake you up. I was like, if I text him, if I Snapchat him, and if I call him, maybe they all have different notification bells that will trigger an awakening. No, that's okay, Kevin. I get it. It's hard to
Awake,
wake up.
not woke, Cat. Awake, not woke.
Awake, not woke. He has awakened. I am going to go grab myself a quick cup of coffee. You mind taking the reins?
That's
Jeff?
perfectly fine. That's perfectly fine. Thanks everybody
Wonderful.
else that's here for joining us. Once again, do not forget to text SEATS, SEATS to 77,000 to just send even just $5. Put a flag on the back of a chair out at the corn crib where Kat is right now, and to show your support for all the veterans, whether that's any in your life or the ones that you hear about, the ones that keep our nation free, allow us to be on the radio, give us that freedom. So please consider going to donate today. Seats to 77,000, seats to 77,000. Thank you guys for joining us this morning. Oh my gosh, I am so happy to be back in studio. Also feel free, guys, leave a comment if you guys have any questions, comments, concerns about anything that is going on, whether it's a story that we covered or one that you wonder why we're not covering it. Leave it in the comments and we will try to get to that. I see some people. I see Ryan Mack at one point did donate, and he donated for a tumbler, and he'll be in there in some time to grab it when he gets a chance. That's awesome. Yes, there are some different donations amounts you can have to get certain fun things like a t-shirt, a tumbler, everything like that. So definitely consider donating. You should just donate. Everybody donate. Seats to 77,000. Seats to 77,000. Hope everyone else is having a wonderful morning with your cup of coffee and sitting there watching on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, or anything like that. Watching Kat and now myself go through the news of the day. If you ever want more content, you can always go to Cities 92.9 or cities929.com. Check that out. And she's back.
I'm back. All right. Shared a Google Doc with you. We're going to play some of these audio clips, Kev, of the New York Stock Exchange and how they were chanting USA. So patriotic. And I'll tell you what's even more patriotic. All of these American flags out here at the Corn Crib. You look out and it's just a sea of American flags. I got goosebumps yesterday because the Corn Belters, the Corn Crib here, they were playing the national anthem.
Oh, yeah.
Right before the ball game. And I just got goosebumps, Kev. I was like, wow, look at all these American flags. I was standing hand over my heart, looking at the American flag right over there by the scoreboard. Don't know if y'all can see it, but, and I thought about Justin, whom I talked to here. He was a 2004 Iraq veteran, and he was telling me about alcoholism, how he was self-medicating to try to deal with that PTSD. And his little girl, Haley, just looks up at him one day and says, Dad, when are you going to drive again? You promised me that you would be driving for your birthday, or for my birthday. And she goes, you broke your promise. And right then and there, he contacted, it's a different organization. It wasn't Hope for the Warriors, but he decided to make that call to this nonprofit organization. It's like Hope for the Warriors. They do PTSD training or PTSD counseling. They do job training, all of this stuff. And he said, I heard about this at the gym, the Seats for Soldiers event. He goes, I heard about it at the gym. somebody was telling me about it, and I just felt compelled really to come out here and hang a flag for my buddy. His name was Eric Barr, and he died in combat. So this was just a story that brought me to tears. I did not one dry eye through the 16-minute interview that I had with him. And yeah, just hearing that story really made me think about how lucky I am to have my national freedom, and how fortunate I am to be able to go anytime I want and get a pint of ice cream. Anytime I want, I can go to the grocery store and not be beaten in the street. You know, and in places like Syria and places like Iraq, that's not possible. There's places in this country where you can't go and just live your life. You can't go fill your car with gas. We're coming back here soon, aren't we?
Yeah, about 10 seconds. And you wanted the Jim Cramer clip? That's the one you were talking about?
Yep, that'd be great.
Perfect.
Into the show, so download the app and stream Cities all day long. Cities 92.9.
USA, USA, USA. Get in on this, Kev Ferris from Speechless Cities. 92.9. Yes, USA. Hey, good morning. It is 7:36 a.m. and I'm out here at the Corn Crib. If you're tuning in live on our Facebook YouTube stream, you can see the ball field. You can even see maybe some flags down here in the seats at the stadium. And each flag represents a $5 donation that was made to Hope for the Warriors. Hope for the Warriors is a nonprofit organization, and they are working with veterans right here in Central Illinois. Last year, we raised $22,000, and that was able to help 30 families here in Central Illinois. 30 families. We want to help way more than that. Come on. We want to surpass that goal of ours, $22,000, what we made last year, and we want to help more folks out. And that's all possible through McLean County Asphalt, Tax and Accounting Plus, Ace Hardware in the Four Season Health Club. If you want to make an in-person donation, you can do that. We had Brian come out. He made a donation. We had Ed come out. These guys were both veterans, right? I mean, still, they're continuing to serve, right? They're providing donations for veterans. And they were veterans themselves. I'd love to see somebody of a civilian background come out and donate and match the donations that were made today. $120 is so far what I have cash in hand. We've been going for about an hour, but I would love to see more, just a flood of people coming in. I challenge you to come out and match this donation today, $120. Now, there's a lot of seats with full of flags out there. And if you make a $30 donation, you can get a tumbler. It's a commemorative tumbler. If you make a $60 donation, we've got a t-shirt here for you. Now, I did want to get to this story, Kevin. The reason why I was chanting USA was because our patriots from Public Square, who host about 55 businesses, and they have over 1 million active consumers on their website. So Public Square is a really interesting website. It's almost like an aggregate for conservative businesses to like, hey, this is my political ideology and I want to make it known. And they go to Public Square and they, fill out their business online, and it's available for people. So you as the consumer can go there to Public Square and you can find businesses of like mind. So they have gone public. So they are on the New York Stock Exchange, and they were founded in January of 2021. Now, the reason why I bring this up is because our favorite Jim Cramer, a woke leftist loser. He's a CNBC analyst. And I'm telling you, Jim Cramer, I don't say that about a lot of people, but he is one of these key players that have just turned us into some sort of ESG, wokesy pandering economy. Like, he's one of these key players here. He's a media acolyte for these leftists and for these corporations. And you can physically see this guy recoil after he hears these chants of USA, USA, USA. We're going to play that clip here for you right now. Here's Jim Cramer, and you guys can see his recoiling on the Facebook Live, YouTube Live, on those streams on social media. Let's go.
Mortgage increases. I mean, the Fed. Jim, percent of sales right now, new home sales are so much higher than they have been.
Yes, and these guys,
overall sales.
you know, these 8,800 this quarter. The main thing you need to know, though, I think really important, is that home prices are up 40% since 2019, and that's the magic number that the Fed is upset about. 40% increase, and this says, listen,
All right,
we are going to have more homes, but you're not going to get that price come down.
You heard the opening bell here at the big board.
All right.
I love hearing that chant, Kat. I got to tell you, I mean that brought me chills when I heard them, but not the same reaction from Mr. Kramer, was it?
No, Mr. Kramer, he was physically recoiling. His co-host there was plugging his ears as if hearing the word USA like was going to make I'm melting. I just imagined, the witch from what is it? The
Wizard of Oz.
Wizard of Oz, yeah. The Wizard of Oz. Come on, give me a break. A 36-hour broadcast. Come on now. Wizard of Oz, right? Where the witch, she's like, I'm melting. And like, I imagine these guys are like physically melting on the inside, hearing the chants of USA, USA. I thought that was pretty cool. Kev, what do you know about Public Square?
Oh, okay. So I've talked to like some of their people that they bring out to those conferences, like the Turning Point conferences and stuff. And a lot of it was built. I mean, as you mentioned, it was founded in 2021. A lot of that purpose is because there was that whole like movement after 2020 of like, well, you have to support Black-owned businesses. You have to support businesses based on the identity of their owners. And so they were like, well, we don't really believe in like race-based support of businesses, but values-based makes sense. And that's a lot of what it is. It's for people that want to identify themselves as patriotic, conservative companies, so then conservatives can support other conservatives. And it's so important nowadays when we see so many of these companies going woke. We have Target, we have Bud Light, Adidas, more and more Hershey's, more and more and more. And so what it really does is it helps build out the parallel economy so that conservatives can still actively take place or actively support parts of the market while not necessarily having to support the woke ideology that is infecting so much of big business.
It really is. It's an infection. And later in the show, we are going to be getting to Bud Light and how they've gone down to number 4. The American beer is going down to number 4. Now, I do want to shift gears. Cities 92.9. I have a very special guest. He just popped up and he's making a donation here for Hope for the Warriors. Buddy, tell me what your name is. Bennett. And what grade are you in?
5th.
You're in 5th grade. And can you tell me a little bit about why you wanted to come make a donation and why you're here today? And what are you seeing out here? What does it look like to you?
A bunch of flags.
A bunch of flags, Bennett. I know. So what grade are you? Or what school do you go to? And Corpus Christi. Really cool. All right. So how much are you donating today? He's donating $100, folks. Bennett is donating $100, and he's here at the stadium. What do you think about all these flags out here? Have you ever seen anything quite like that?
No.
I know, I haven't either. Isn't it cool? Do you play any sports?
Yeah.
What one?
Baseball and football.
Baseball and football. Ooh, are you coming out for the game later today? No. You probably are practicing throwing some ball with your dad, huh? Yeah. Well, thank you so much for your donation, Bennett. I really appreciate it. And I'm sure the veterans are going to really appreciate it here in Central Illinois. Thanks for coming on. Do you want to say anything for our radio listeners?
Bye.
Bye from Bennett, folks. Bye from Bennett. He came here, made a $100 donation. We're going to get Bennett a t-shirt. You guys want a t-shirt? All right, just give me a couple of minutes. I'm going to be done here in just a couple of minutes. We'll be cutting a break if you guys want to hang out a bit. $100 donation. Come on, guys. Bennett is just a little boy, and he came out here and made a $100 donation. Come on and come out and support our veterans here. He matched the donation. I encouraged people to match a donation here in the 7 o'clock hour. There was a veteran. His name was Brian, and he served this wonderful country of ours for 23 years. And I was encouraging a civilian. Obviously, Bennett is very small. He has not served our country. But he came out and he made a $100 donation. And you can too by texting the word SEATS, SEATS, to 77,000. That's our Jimmy John's text line. We're getting close to our goal here. I think the last time I checked, we're near 10 grand. Overall, that's our total count, near that, but we're behind a little bit. We need to make over 22,000 if you guys want to help more than 30 veteran families. That's what we helped last year through Hope for the Warriors here in Central Illinois. You guys can help out too by coming out and making your donation today. All right, I do want to shift gears. Like I said, I wanted to talk about Bud Light. You know, the guy that is probably an expert on this is definitely our very own Kev Ferris. And he's been keeping up on all of this stuff. So Bud Light, they went from number 1 to number 4. So Newsweek is reporting that Bud Light was the number 1 beer sold in bars and restaurants. Now, there was a new report that came out, and I think we're like in the third quarter or something like that. But in the first quarter, they were number 1. Bud Light was. Now they're number 4. And look, this has everything to do with the company signing on a guy who identifies as a prepubescent girl and sings about his bulge in his pants, folks. Oh, boy. Now, there is people ahead of Bud Light. There are companies ahead of Bud Light: Miller Lite, Michelob Ultra, Coors Light. The biggest drop-offs for Bud Light happened in Texas, in South Carolina, and in North Carolina. Now, the smallest drop-off, it shouldn't shock you, it was in California. And we have Anheuser-Busch's global CEO coming out and saying, and I'm paraphrasing here, but he says, Bud Light represents about 1% of the company's total sales, global sales volume. So what this global CEO is saying essentially is, screw you, Middle America. We don't care that you're boycotting Bud Light because me, fancy dancy, Anheuser-Busch global CEO, it's only 1% of our sales, so keep trying. Look, folks, the boycott is working. I don't care what the global CEO says. He's going to say that, and yeah, he's making millions, and he continues to make millions, but you are putting a dent in their sales, and I think that we should continue the boycott. Kev, your thoughts, global CEO coming out and saying all that?
Well, I mean, of course he's going to say that. He's trying to downplay how hard it's been, because the thing is that if it's really only 1%, if it really doesn't hurt that much, then why did they have massive layoffs? Why have they had to purchase it back from places like Walmart? Why is Costco no longer putting it on their shelves? If it's just 1%, if that's really your mindset, then why have you had the national CEO, you know, I forgot the guy's name exactly, but the former CIA agent, why did he go on Good Morning America or whatever it was and try to say that their beer is inclusive and they want everybody? No, here's the thing, is they're trying to downplay it so then they can try to make you, the person who has been supporting this boycott, rightfully so, they're trying to make you feel like your actions are insignificant. No, your actions are very significant, and you can see that from across the board. Bud Light is losing. They're losing not every verifiable metric Bud Light has gone down on, in terms of sales, in terms of ranking, in terms of purchasing. Bud Light is losing. And for anybody who wants to try to downplay it like this CEO, it's simply because he's scared and because we're winning.
Yes, and maybe he's right. Maybe it really doesn't affect him and his global line, you know, like his bottom line. Maybe it really doesn't. But what about all the people who lost their jobs, the distributors, the suppliers, these bars and restaurants who are losing sales because they can't sell this beer, right? It's like you don't care about the average Joe here in America, and that was just so clear by that statement.
That's how we got here in the first place, Kat, is because they didn't care about the average. I mean, if you look at the statistics, I believe it's out of oh my gosh, I'm forgetting exactly what it's out of, but there are statistics that show that the majority of Americans do not believe that men can become women and women can become men, and then you actually bring on this influencer, Dylan Mulvaney. And for anybody who doesn't know where Dylan Mulvaney came from, before COVID, Dylan was an outspoken homosexual activist that was also trying to make it as a Broadway actor. He was doing off-Broadway shows. And then COVID hit. He ran out of work. And all of a sudden, he starts identifying as a woman, dressing up as a woman, and then gets TikTok famous simply for doing so. So Dylan Mulvaney is a paid actor. That's what he was paid to do with Bud Light, is to be a paid actor. And like you said, Kat, Bud Light has not, and still does not care about your average American Joe, because Dylan Mulvaney does not represent your average American. Dylan Mulvaney represents a radical ideology that very few Americans actually believe in.
You're so right, Kev. I know we're pushing up against a break, so I am going to have to go get Bennett a t-shirt. Folks, I am out at the Corn Crib live in North Normal. Heartland Community College is right next door. You guys can come out, make an in-person donation. I encourage you to match Bennett's donation of $100 this hour. The 8 o'clock hour, we're going in to the 8 o'clock hour. And Johnson Lexington, I'm really excited because they are making a donation. And I'll tell you more about that here. Hope for the Warriors. They're a nonprofit organization helping Central Illinois veterans. This is a 36-hour straight broadcast. We've been talking for 36 hours. I'm getting tired, but it's so worth it because it's a great cause. 309-451-9299. I've got a question. What do you think about Donald Trump hosting the Sound of Freedom screening? Because we are going to be talking about Donald Trump hosting this screening, and right on cue, the leftists are melting down because Don hosted this screening. I'll be back next.
Cities 92-second news brought to you by
Driscoll Motors, your Chevrolet Jeep.
Okay.
All right, Kev, you take the reins. I'm going to go grab Bennett a t-shirt.
Sounds good. And if you guys want to get a t-shirt just like Bennett, don't forget you can text SEATS to 77,000. Thank you for tuning in on our Facebook, YouTube, everything else live stream. So happy to be talking to you guys here on this beautiful Friday. It is Friday, right? Yeah, Friday morning. If you guys do not know me, my name is Kev Ferris. I'm a 22-year-old college student at Illinois State University, graduating in December. I also do a lot of production work here at Cities 92.9. I'm the one that basically helped make sure that we could do all of this stuff on YouTube, Twitter, and Facebook. And so make sure you go check out all of our individual cities' talent on YouTube. We have, if you're a frequent listener on the weekends, you might know El Donzo and Dees. They have their own YouTube. Ty Smith, Modern Renaissance Man, obviously has his own YouTube. He's had his own for a while. David Paul Blumenshine, the DPB show, has his own on YouTube as well. And myself, Kev Ferris, Speechless with Kev Ferris. You can go check that out. Not only do I do all my radio content on there, I also do off-air content daily, making sure that we are always bringing you the most up-to-date news and talk of Bloomington, Normal, and beyond. So please, 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 you guys can go check that out on YouTube. You can even follow Cities 92.9 as its own new YouTube channel, in which we're also going to start putting some off-air content there as well. We got big things in the works. Big things in the works here at Cities 92.9. It's going to be great. It's going to be great. It's going to be huge. It's going to be huge. And if you guys have anything to say about what we're talking about here today, or if you have any questions, comments, or concerns, feel free to leave them in the comments section. We will be looking at those. Or you could always text or call in at 309-451-9299. 309-451-9299. Yes, 309-451-9299. Thank you guys so much for tuning in on this beautiful Friday morning. Kat will be back soon, making sure she's going to get 5th grader Bennett a t-shirt for his $100 donation. And you can match Bennett's donation. You can. If you want to be as courageous as that, get your own t-shirt, get your own tumbler. You can match Bennett's donation. All you got to do is go visit Kat at the Corn Crib, bring some cash. You could do that, or you could text SEATS, SEATS, to 77,000. Again, that's SEATS to 77000. So 77000. Text SEATS to 77000. We will be back soon in about 30 seconds, assuming Kat comes back. If not, I'm going to have to get into this big story that we got going on because she's got about 20 seconds left before we're supposed to come back. So we'll see how she's doing. If not, I guess I'm going to be going on straight first. 7 seconds. Kat is not back, so I guess I'll take the reins.
Good morning, Hey, this is the Morning Buzz. You're listening to Cities 92.9. I'm live out here at the Corn Crib, and it's a beautiful day. So much better than yesterday, I'm telling you. It was wet, it was sticky, it was foggy. This is a much better day to come out and drive and make an in-person donation. And Bennett, he made a $100 donation, which just warmed my heart. It just warmed my heart. Bennett was just a small boy, and he said, you know what, I'm going to come on out and make a donation. He got a t-shirt, he got a tumbler. $60 donation gets you a t-shirt. A $30 donation gets you a tumbler, thanks to Cherry Tumblers. Now, if you look out behind me, I've got all kinds of flags. If you're tuned into the live stream on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, I've got these flags out here, and each flag represents a $5 donation, and it's saving a seat for a veteran who might not have come home, and for a veteran who is coming home. So these brave men and women, they sign their name on the dotted line, and they go through things like PTSD. Hope for the Warriors is a national nonprofit, and what they do, they specialize in PTSD counseling. They also provide medical equipment. They have job trainings, and they even provide scholarships for veterans. So be sure to donate in person here at the Corn Crib, or text the word SEATS, S-E-A-T-S, to 77,000. And, you know, I've got these guys. They came out last year, and they are the Guardians of Children. I'm going to let them introduce themselves and their organization. They came out last year, and they're motorcycle riders. They're in a motorcycle group. So go ahead, tell me a little bit about yourself. Introduce your name first, and then tell our listeners about the Guardians of Children.
Okay, well, my name's Jim. I go by Dinosaur in the group. We're the Guardians of the Children. We're a bunch of motorcycle advocates. We raise awareness for children abuse. We go to court with the kids. We help them out. We adopt them, if you will. We give them their own vests, their own name, and we let kids be kids again. What we got going on tomorrow morning starts at, I'm double checking myself, Breakers in Clinton. Registration's 9. The ride starts at 11. Is our big ride, Destiny's Ride for Child Abuse Awareness. We go all over McLean County and Central Illinois. The ride ends at the Eagles around 5 o'clock. We'll have an auction, we'll have food, and it's just generally a really good time. If you've got the time, it's supposed to be a beautiful day for it. Come on out.
Awesome. Well, and, you know, I wanted... Yeah. And I wanted to also ask you guys, you know, I don't know if you've seen the Sound of Freedom film, but there is a huge conversation happening, not only nationally, but I think here in the community when it comes to things like child pornography. In the news earlier today, you heard Tom Davis talk about somebody who was charged with child pornography in Streeter. I was talking about a man, a scumbag. I don't even want to call him a man, a scum of the earth. His name's John Stevens, and he was posing as some sort of cosplayer Luke Skywalker, right? And like, kids love Star Wars, right? And they're drawn to that sort of behavior. They're drawn to that sort of entertainment. And he took advantage of that and was raping little girls, you know, and I hate to do this so early in the morning, but this is something that has to be said. And I think that the movie Sound of Freedom said, you know what, we're just going to say it. And your thoughts about the national conversation, the community conversation about child pornography, human trafficking, and the really the exploitation of children. I do have to take a quick break, but we are going to be talking with my good friend Dinosaur. He's with the Destiny Ride. This is a Destiny Ride. It's the 10th annual Destiny Ride for child abuse awareness. It's $20 a person. This includes a meal. It's happening tomorrow, July 22nd, tomorrow, and you guys can come on out to that. But we are going to be talking with Dinosaur on the other side. This is the Morning Buzz. Be sure to go to the live stream and give us a like and follow and subscribe. We're going to continue our conversation here on the live stream too.
Kat,
okay.
Are you going to keep that conversation going?
Yeah. So we're just going to kind of take a conversation. We will address it just at a broader level, but I did want to specifically ask you, being that you work with these children, and you know how what you do exactly to try to get these kids back to normalcy, I guess.
the parents will contact us, and if the kids are going through court or something like that, we go with them. We literally are in the back of the courtroom. We're there for moral support, and I've seen it work pretty good with some of the kids. And they'll come in scared to death, and they kind of figure out we're here for them, and it helps tremendously. We have different outings for them through the year, spring, summer, fall, winter, different festivals and what have you. And again, we let the kids be kids. We're there for them. We help them out. The next big thing we do is when they go back to school, we're going to help buy their school supplies. We do things like that. And it's all to raise awareness on this abuse, because it is everywhere. Yeah, I did see Sound of Freedom. It puts it pretty point blank. So
Yeah, and I think that having a bunch of guys, big biker guys, right? You guys are tall, right? And just I would feel safe if you guys walked with me anywhere, just as a civilian, like just as a normal gal. If you guys were to walk in with me anywhere, I would feel safe. Imagine, a small child going through that kind of trauma, what it means to have a man who knows what they're going through and who can sympathize, to walk into a courtroom with them and have something so amazing as this Destiny ride, folks. And we have a Destiny ride. It's coming up Saturday, July 22nd. It starts at Breakers on East Adams Street in Clinton, and then it ends at the Eagles on Main Street in Bloomington. So those are they bars, restaurants?
Breakers is a bar restaurant down in Clinton. The Eagles is a club that's right past the viaduct on Main Street. And again, we'll have an auction. There'll be food. If you don't go on the ride, come on out anyway. Everything will be there. Plenty of room for everybody. And again, it's a good time, man. It's great for the awareness. It's just a good time. There will be a lot of different stuff there.
Yeah, so you saw the movie Sound of Freedom, and I am actually going to be getting to this this story about John Stevens. So I guess he was called Fluke Skywalker. He was a cosplayer, and he used his entertainment business to take advantage of very young girls. And it was so bad where they said that the media, like the media they found on his phone, the evidence that they found on his phone wasn't even... they couldn't even talk about it. The cops couldn't talk about it with the media. They said that they couldn't say it out loud what they found on the phone. So your thoughts about that, and just the entertainment industry. You saw the Sound of Freedom, and this in the beginning, the woman, she takes the children and she tries to convince them to be a part of the entertainment business. Is this something that parents should be aware of? It's like, actors, things like that?
I would think so. I mean, you were talking about gaming. We've had one that was it Minecraft? There's the different gaming stuff where there's a lot of predators that sit back on theirs. And, as far as the kid's concerned, that's a 16-year-old kid that's talking to them. And, well, your parents are this, your parents, they don't understand. And the idea is to lure you away, get you to come out to where they're at, or get you to meet them. And then they take you from that point. So, and yeah, it's all over the place.
Yeah, we're going to be coming back in just a couple of minutes. It's all over the place in that, hey, lure your kids. They're luring your kids away from you as a parent. That's something that's really prevalent. I even think in public schools a lot of the time with the books. Indoctrination. Yeah. It's concerning to hear things like really pornography. I mean, I'm just going to be honest, taught to children in English class, and pornographic images. And, if your parents get upset with that kind of stuff, they'll say, well, your parent doesn't understand you. Your parent is, and that's all a part of this tactic of... Yes, I know. So Barack Obama is out there on this TikTok campaign, and he's sitting and he's reading books. Of course, not the books that are titled Flamer or This Book is Gay. He's out there reading books that are banned, and they're not banned, right? You can still buy them on Amazon, and you can get them in. Yeah, yeah. If it's banned, how come you have it and you're reading it right now, Barack Obama, for a TikTok audience? So we are going to be coming back here 8 o'clock hour on Cities 92.9. We do have an hourly sponsor, John's in Lexington. They are matching donations of up to $200 today. They're our 8 a.m. sponsor. This hour of the Seats
20
for
seconds.
Soldiers 36-hour broadcast is from John's in Lexington. We're going to come right back.
We take pride in your comfort. Just call Summers.
From the Johns and Lexington studios, if you're an experienced body shop technician who is looking to grow your career, join Johns in Lexington. We're growing. To join the team, apply in person at Johns in Lexington.
The Morning Buzz with Kat Peterson. This is your hometown conservative talk show that examines today's stories through a brand new lens. This is The Morning Buzz, brought to you by McLean County Asphalt. They've been repairing driveways for more than 15 years.
Hop in.
The Morning Buzz with
Come
Kat
on, hop on. Ed, our chapter president. Cities 92.9, the news and talk of Bloomington Normal. I'm out here live at the Corn Crib visiting with my good friends Dinosaur and Ed. They are... Eddie, he's the chapter president of Guardians of the Children. We are going to be getting to their Destiny Ride that they are hosting tomorrow. They are raising awareness surrounding child abuse. We've been talking about the movie Sound of Freedom. I was talking about John Stevens, who dressed up as Luke Skywalker, went by the name Fluke Skywalker, used his entertainment and his website to lure children, and then he decided to rape young children. I'm going to be getting to that story here in just about 5 minutes. But first, I am out at the Corn Crib collecting donations for Hope for the Warriors. We are raising awareness, and we are also trying to get more than $22,000. That was our fundraising last year. This is our 6th annual Seats for Soldiers. And we helped out 30 families through Hope for the Warriors last year. We want to help out more families. So come on out, make a donation. $5 just gets you a flag on the back of the chairs here in the Corn Crib Stadium. And we're marking that seat saved for a soldier who is coming home or who was not able to come home. So we are making big waves here in Bloomington Normal when it comes to helping Central Illinois veterans. Hope for the Warriors, they specialize in things like PTSD counseling. They help people get medical equipment if they were severely injured. This hour is brought to you by, of course, Johns in Lexington, preferred by their customers, not insurance companies, where they are matching your donations this hour of up to $200 in honor of our vets. Thank you to them. Thank you to McLean County Asphalt, Four Seasons Health Club, Ace Hardware. We also have SEFCU, Miller Lite, Tentec Enterprises. We also have Miller Lite. We've got Tax and Accounting Plus, Jimmy John's. They are all helping us make this possible. Now, before we took the break, we were talking with my good friend Dinosaur, and we're talking with Ed, who's the chapter president. Dinosaur, I was asking him about, this national conversation surrounding child abuse and child pornography. Now that this movie Sound of Freedom has come out, what is it exactly that you see in your line of work here with children who go through these heinous crimes, and how does Guardians of the Children help with that?
Well, again, we support the kids. We go to court with them, and we sit in the back. Literally, we're just there for moral support at that point. But they know we're there. When this whole thing started in 2006 in San Antonio with a mother chapter there was a 30% conviction rate. Once they got in and the Guardians started up, that went up to 70% almost immediately. So it does make a difference to have someone in your corner, if you will, because the perpetrator's not 20 feet from you, staring you down. And if things don't go right, you get to go back home with them. So having somebody there that's going to support you, that they're there for you, it makes a huge difference. And I have watched it make a big difference on the kids. They get their courage back, their dignity back. And again, they can be a kid again. They don't have to constantly be scared of what's going on.
I and you guys are big biker guys. You guys are 6 feet tall, probably, and you guys are somebody I would like to have just walking in to the grocery store. Me myself, just being a normal citizen, right, walking into the grocery store. Imagine what having a good man, a male presence when you are walking into this as a young child going through this trauma. I would imagine that does make a big difference, and I'm glad you guys are here in the community. You guys have this 10th annual Destiny Ride for Child Abuse Awareness. It's $20 a person, but that includes a meal. It starts out at Breakers on East Adams Street in Clinton, and it ends at the Eagles on Main Street in Bloomington. Tell me a little bit about this Destiny Ride. And you guys have been doing it for 10 years, right? That's an Ed question. Ed is the chapter president here for the Guardians of the Children, which is a group right here in Bloomington Normal. And these are the groups that we have to try to support, folks, if we want to change the conversation around child pornography. And Ed, tell me a little bit about the Destiny Ride.
Well, the Destiny Ride originally started at Breakers. Tony Gum, the owner, did the first one. We do the ride just for in memory of Destiny and for child abuse awareness. Destiny was a 3-year-old, vibrant young little girl that she passed away when she was 3 due to abuse from her mother's boyfriend. And, you know, in the court, going through the trial, you heard all the times that she was more or less tortured by him. Everything from spiral fractures that, I accidentally stepped on her, but that doesn't cause a spiral fracture of like the leg. Or he would have her put her feet up on the couch in the push-up position and hold the position for, hours. He'd have her stand in the corner, lean into the corner, then take a step back for hours. I mean, and in the trial, he said that's how that's what happened when he grew up. So child abuse is also a perpetual, it's a circle. If a lot of kids, when they're abused as kids, they grow up and abuse because they think that's, how you're supposed to do it. But Destiny, I got off track. Destiny's Ride is it's a fun ride, but it's also in memory of Destiny. We actually, when we leave Breakers, like we do every year, the first stop is the cemetery in Clinton. We go to Destiny's gravesite, and we'll say a few things. I mean, and she's not the only abused child buried in the cemetery there. I mean, the Ham children, whose fate was met when they were in a locked car and it rolled into the Clinton Lake. Just so happened the 2 adults were outside the car. Yeah, but it's out there. Child abuse is out there, and we're just trying to bring it to light so people can, try to end it. I mean, just like Sound of Freedom for child trafficking. I mean, we try to help with any abuse. I mean, it can be verbal, mental. Not everything is sexual. There's physical abuse, mental abuse, and we're just trying to bring it to light so we can try to help put an end to it.
And I can't believe the work you guys are doing here. And I did not know that about Destiny. So Destiny, was she local here in Bloomington Normal?
She was from Clinton, but she actually, what had happened in Chenoa. And then she was air flighted, I believe, to Peoria, where she died of, I believe it was the swelling of the brain.
Folks, this is just such a tragic story, but they're raising awareness. So do some good, right? A tragic story, but there can be good that comes out of it, and that's raising awareness about this so it stops. The Destiny Ride, like I said, it is going to start out on East Adams Street in Clinton tomorrow. What time?
Registration starts at 9, and the kickstand's up, or the ride starts at 11. We're going to various spots around McLean and Livingston County, and then back to the Eagles in Bloomington by 5 for a dinner, thanks to Tim Keller over at Keller's. He's supplying the dinner, and then we'll have our auction, both ticket auction and live auction. And we'll just, if you, like he said, if you can't make it to the ride, you can make it to the dinner and the auction and maybe get some stuff for the house.
It was a pleasure meeting you guys out here at the Corn Crib. I so do appreciate you guys coming out, talking with me. Folks, we are here live out at the Corn Crib, and you can come make a donation. We've been doing a 36-hour broadcast here for the veterans and we have been donating to Hope for the Warriors, which is a nonprofit organization who helps Central Illinois vets. We are going to be getting closer to a break, but we are going to hit that story a little bit more, the John Stevens story. But again, guys, thanks so much. I'm going to do this story and then we'll chat a little bit more when I cut to break here. But thanks so much. And how do we find out more about you guys?
Well, we have a we don't have a website yet. We're on Facebook at Guardians of the Children Central Illinois chapter, or let's see, you can.
Yeah, I've got it. I think. Here we go. More information, 309-323-8265. Be sure to call that number. You can donate, volunteer, join. And this is a really interesting group you guys have. And I'm glad that you guys are doing this right again. I know last year you did it around this time too.
Yeah, it's usually the fourth Saturday in July. We try to keep it at the same time so people can, plan for it and things like that. But like you said, we try to give them their childhood and their innocence back, but we never discuss it with them. Mm-hmm. We never discuss what happened. We just treat them like kids and let them know that, we're here, but they're going to be fine.
You're in their corner. And folks, that brings me to this story. And Kevin, I'd love for you to jump in on it too with me a little bit. This story, John Stevens. So he was the children's Star Wars entertainer. It's called Fluke Star Wars, Skywalker, and he was arrested for child pornography charges. John Stevens, he was doing appearances as some sort of like legendary Jedi Knight, and he was posing really as this entertainer, and they found evidence on his phone that he was raping little children. And I mean, it was so bad that the cops said, you know what, media, we can't discuss the evidence. It's just that bad. So then you read his website and it is just sick. He just says, I'm this great guy and I'm donating all of this money to charity. And the point of this story is that, hey, be on the lookout for these people. I mean, he was advertising his Jedi dress-up services on his website, and he actually was mistaken for Mark Hamill, the real Luke Skywalker, at the 2016 California Comic-Con. And on his website, he says, quote, "When you have me attend your child's or adult's birthday party, fundraiser, company party, or special event, I'm going to donate to local charities to help sick children." What a weirdo. Kev, your thoughts?
Well, here's the thing, Kat. First thing is I think Jason Aldean has some amazing advice for this guy. Try that in a small town. See what happens. Because I guarantee you, if you tried that stuff in a small town, you'd have the whole community coming at you, probably trying to castrate you, which rightfully so. And that's really where I think this should go down to. That guy should be, if not given the death penalty, then chemically castrated and thrown in a cell for the rest of his life. He's an absolute scumbag. Anybody who preys on children like that is obviously demented and possessed by something very, very dark and wicked. And so what we need to make sure is that we are protecting our children. God's children are not for sale. And you need to be on a lookout for that, because you never know nowadays. Like we said, try that in a small town. You never know who might be. You always got to keep your head in a swivel, especially in your urban areas. And so everybody try that in a small town, see what's going to happen. This Fluke Skywalker guy, again, castrate him and throw him in a cell.
I agree, Kevin. I agree. And, Ed here, he was just telling me, hey, you know, what happens a lot of time is kids will get online and gaming things on Minecraft, on video games, and you might think that, you know, they're talking to another 16-year-old kid, but in reality, they're talking to a predator like this Luke Skywalker guy. Coming up in just a bit, we are going to lighten it up a bit, I promise. Trump hosted the Sound of Freedom film, but also I do want to talk about Vivek Ramaswamy and Ron DeSantis. They are now in a dead tie for a national poll. And like I said, folks, this hour, John's in Lexington, they are matching your donations. John's in Lexington, preferred by their customers, not insurance companies. They're matching your donations this hour of up to $200 in honor of our veterans. We are out here at the Corn Crib. You can make an in-person donation by coming out to the Corn Crib in North Normal. It's right by Heartland Community College, or you can text the word seats to our freaky fast Jimmy John's text line. That's 77,000. Text the word seats to 77,000. And big thank you to McLean County Asphalt, Tax and Accounting Plus, Ace Hardware, and the Four Seasons Health Club. We're going to be right back, and we're going to be talking a little bit about Vivek Ramaswamy and Ron DeSantis tied in a national poll. That's next.
Cities 92-second news.
Okay, Kat Peterson.
I appreciate you guys coming out.
Thank you for having us.
Yep. And we'll be sure to plug this throughout the rest of the show, I think. Thank you guys.
I appreciate you.
Yeah. This is our general manager. That's Jeremy. This is, I'm sorry, I missed your real name. Like Jim. So they.
Yes. So I do a 5K every year. I'm on the board of Children's Home and Aid.
Oh yeah, that was the one out, but it was snowing.
Yes.
Yeah.
It was a beautiful day.
Yeah.
Out there for Duncan and Jack for that too. And you guys do that every year. So
sunshine and nature.
Yeah, then all of a sudden,
sleet and all sorts of fun that day. So.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that was fun when she came up. Very short. She know it's gonna snow.
yeah, it was all over weather.
All right. We're back on the live stream, right, Kev?
Yes, we are on the live.
Thank you, guys. Thank you. I appreciate it. All right. All righty. All right. So we're going to be back here in just a little bit. Folks, if you're watching right now, smash that like button and be sure to text in your donation to 77,000. Text the word seats to 77,000 and make a donation to Hope for the Warriors. Kev, how you doing today?
Oh, I'm doing my best, Kat. I got actually 2 interviews lined up to pre-record today. I have one with that Indiana University student I was telling you about who is getting canceled by his student government due to his voicing things that were against LGBTQ people. And then I also have an interview with a country music artist called the East Coast Cowboy, talking to him all about the Jason Aldean stuff. And so he's kind of on his way up out of Nashville, but he's from New Jersey originally. And so I'm hoping that's going to be a great conversation. Talk to him. And he actually has a song, interestingly enough, he has a song that's about the 2020 riots and everything like that. So keep an eye out on my YouTube and make sure you're listening on Sunday from 3 to 5 to Speechless to catch all those interviews.
And be sure to subscribe all of Kevin Ferris's content. He's on YouTube, Twitch, Rumble. He's everywhere. You can find Kev Ferris pretty easy.
Heck yeah.
All right. Well, we are going to be coming back in just a short while, but before we come back, one thing I wanted to kind of talk about a little bit lighter today. I like doing these things, Kev, for the morning show.
Yep.
It's National whatever day. So today is National Junk Food Day. So what's your favorite junk food, Kev?
My favorite junk food? Well, it's not necessarily a food, but I'm a huge soda person, and I consider that kind of in like the junk food sphere. And so I love like a good Coke or a Dr. Pepper or something. I'd say that's probably mine. What about you, Cap?
Mine is Cheez-Its. I'm a big Cheez-It person.
Ooh, I love me some Cheez-Its. Cheez-Its are really good. Especially, have you ever had the extra toasty Cheez-Its?
Yes.
Oh,
I don't know if I like those so much. I do like the regular cheddar. I don't branch out. I don't do the white cheddar ones. I'm obsessed with Cheez-Its. So when I see them in the grocery store, I turn my happy butt around and I walk the other direction and I don't buy them because I will eat an entire box. I used to keep Cheez-Its in my truck and I would just reach over and just pop them in my mouth. It was bad. Hey, if you're watching right now, throw in the comment section what your favorite junk food is. We'll read them on air for you coming up here in just a little bit.
And don't forget to smash that like button, everybody. Like, subscribe, and share all these videos. If you got any other questions or comments or concerns besides just your favorite junk food, feel free to leave in the comments.
Yep. All right. So another thing that I want to talk about is the Bud Light controversy, right? And I feel like we need a review. So if you've been living in a cave and you don't know what the Bud Light controversy is all about, I'll break it down for you here. Bud Light decided to work with tit face performer. I can say that on the stream. I can't say it on air. He's a tit face. Like he just is one big giant butt cheek. I'll say butt cheek performer. Butt cheek face performer Dylan Mulvaney. I don't like Dylan Mulvaney. He preys on kids. And I'm sorry, folks, that is not cool with me. Dylan Mulvaney was hired on by Bud Light, and he makes fun of women. He sings about his bulge and his leather shorts and on TikTok, and they hired him to be a spokesperson for this NCAA tournament coverage. And the VP came out. I'll get to the controversy here for the radio friends as well. You're listening to Cities 92.9.
2.9.
Yeah, I'm the cat.
3, 2.
Wow, this is so fun. I'm out here at the corn crib. The sun is shining. Brenda. Hi, Brenda. Brenda's out there in the stadium, and she's hanging up flags. I see her right out there, and she is hanging up flags. We have gotten all kinds of donations. I'm challenging you to donate $200. John's in Lexington, preferred by their customers, not by insurance companies. They're matching your donations this hour for the first $200, and they're donating $200. Thank you to John's in Lexington. They're awesome. Now, we're doing this all for Hope for the Warriors. So Hope for the Warriors is a nonprofit organization helping people with PTSD. They help veterans really just transition from civilian life back, or from military life back to civilian life. So they were civilians, then they went into the military, and it changes your demeanor, right? You can't go into a Walmart without being in this heightened state. You can't be out with your daughter, with your family, without going back to that time where you got blown up, right? And I was talking to somebody who was deployed out in Iraq, actually. He was in Iraq 2004. His name was Justin, and he came out yesterday, was hanging up some flags for a buddy of his that got blown away, Eric Barr. Eric Barr, he had a little keychain, and it was a photo of them back in Iraq. And Justin, I'm choking up just thinking about it. He was dealing with alcoholism. He was trying to treat his PTSD. And he has this little keychain to remind him, hey, Eric Barr, he came out of it without his life. He came out of Iraq without his life. And he goes, I'm fortunate enough to have my life. And he contacted an organization like Hope for Warriors. And he understands the important work that Hope for Warriors does for veterans in this community, Central Illinois. And he was telling me a little bit about how he was able to beat his alcoholism, and he was like 18 months sober. So we want more stories like that. And he was able to get out of that rut and transition back to civilian life and get some car keys to keep that keychain on his car keys. So helping real people, Hope for the Warriors. Thank you to McLean County Asphalt, Tax and Accounting Plus, the Four Seasons Health Club, and Ace Hardware, SEFQ, Tentac Enterprises, Miller Lite, and the Wilbur Group. They're all making this possible. And of course, John's in Lexington, they are matching your donations up to $200 this hour. Now, before we took the break, I was telling you a little bit about Bud Light and the controversy there. So they have now gone down to number 4. And this is now after the restaurants, the bars, they stopped stocking the shelves with Bud Light. So they are behind Miller Lite, Michelob Ultra, Coors Light, and the biggest drop-offs here for Bud Light were in Texas, South Carolina, and North Carolina. Can you guess where the smallest drop-off for Bud Light was at? Of course, the gay state of California, the LGBTQ state. I like to call it California, California. So the CEO came out with something and said something that's deeply offensive to middle America. And I've got a statement here coming up on the other side. I'm taking a quick break. Somebody's here donating to Hope for Warriors right now. I'm going to go grab his donation, but we're going to be back with the show. It is about 8:30 a.m. Come on out to the Corn Crib, make an in-person donation. I challenge you right here to make that donation to Hope for the Warriors. This is Kat Peterson.
The news is being brought to you.
Hey, everybody. And how's everybody doing? I'm going to mute Kat there real quick. But thanks everybody for tuning in. I am Kev Ferris, the producer for yesterday and today of Kat's morning show. Thank you all for tuning in. And don't forget to text SEATS to 77,000. Again, that's SEATS to 77,000. You can donate to Hope for Warriors through that link. If you cannot make it out to the Corn Crib, no matter where you're from, you can donate, and it'll help veterans nationwide. So please consider donating to support our veterans. They obviously have sacrificed. Some have sacrificed all so that we could have the freedoms and the country that we do. And if they have not sacrificed all, then they've sacrificed some for us. And so I think it's only right that we are able to give at least a little bit back to them. So thank you guys so much for tuning in. If you are interested, you can always go check out my YouTube channel as well, where I host daily shows. My name is Kev Ferris. I can send the link if you would like. There's that. I hope you guys are doing great. I think Kat is grabbing some people that have donations and stuff. I'll send my link right in here now if you guys are interested. So that's me. If you want to go like, subscribe, and share, feel free to go like, subscribe, and share. I host daily content as well as my radio show on Sundays from 3 to 5. This Sunday, I'll be having a country music artist reacting to the whole Jason Aldean controversy, and to try that in a small town song. That's what I'll be having on Sunday. There's also another student I'm interviewing, and interview will be posted today. He is an Indiana University student that is getting canceled for calling out the university for their pro-pride stance, and thus hampering religious liberty on campus. And so it's absolutely fascinating, his story. And so always don't forget to like, subscribe, and share. We will get Kat back here soon. There she is. How's it going, Kat? I got you muted right now.
1 sec. I'm taking a picture with Dan here. Dan came out to donate. So take the reins away there, Kevin.
Of course. I've been taking them. I'm doing everything I can. I'm curious, too. There's a lot of buzz right now, pun intended, being on the morning buzz, about two movies that just came out today, Barbie and Oppenheimer. Which one are you going to see? Barbie or Oppenheimer? Leave it in the comments. Are you going to see Barbie or Oppenheimer? If you've already seen one of them, which one did you like, or what did you like about it? Was it good? Was it bad? And leave it in the comments. I'm curious. I got to figure out whoever gets more comments on Barbie or Oppenheimer. That's the one I will go see. Barbie or Oppenheimer. If you leave it in the comments which one you're going to see, Barbie or Oppenheimer, whichever one gets more comments, that's the one I'll go see. We got Kat back here. Kat, how's it going?
I'm going to comment Barbie.
Really? I've heard woke things about that movie.
I know. I love watching woke movies because I sit there and I heckle.
To be honest, I want to go see Oppenheimer, but if everybody says Barbie, I guess I got to do what the fans want. So
gotta go see Barbie. Big shout out to Dan. He donated $50. Got himself a little mug. He liked his tumbler. He was painting. It looked like he was painting. He's a painter. And he was on his way to Menards to go pick up some stuff. And he stopped by the Corn Crib, made a donation to Seats for Soldiers.
That's awesome.
So awesome. So you want to what is the other one?
Oppenheimer. It's the whole biographical drama about the making and detonation of the atomic bomb.
Interesting.
It's got a star-studded cast too: Robert Downey Jr., Cillian Murphy, Florence Pugh. It was directed by Christopher Nolan, and being about the atomic bomb, it doesn't even use a single ounce of CGI. So it's like he had to recreate all the explosions all on his own with practical effects. So
Huh. Wow, that's an interesting film. I doubt we're going to be getting any more films out of Hollywood. Oh, so these might be the last two here, folks. Barbie and a movie about the atomic bomb. So
Oh yeah,
that's
Barbenheimer. That's what this week. We got eight seconds left, by the way.
all right. Here we go.
Find concrete ways to restore our state on Cities 92.9.
Three, two.
Good morning. Hey, this is the Morning Buzz. And as if I needed another reason to love Donald Trump. Donald Trump hosting the movie Sound of Freedom. He had a screening where he praised filmmakers, and Bud Light. They are managing to find more bad news. Now that bars and restaurants, the numbers are in, the reports are in, and it shows that they have gone down to the number 4 beer in America. Because they decided to make the worst marketing decision in the history of marketing decisions. We've got that here for us. And then a little bit later, I do want to talk about Vivek Ramaswamy and Ron DeSantis. So first, let's start with Bud Light. I am out here at the Corn Crib. You might be like, wait a second, Kat, I'm tuning into the live stream. You're not in your studio. You sound a little different on the radio. Yes, I'm out at the Corn Crib. We had Dan. He came out, made a donation of $50. Got a tumbler. I encourage you to come out, match Dan's donation right now. Dan and I, we took a photograph. We'll put that out on our social media page. And the Guardians of the Children, they were out here. They made a donation. The Guardians of the Children, they are a Central Illinois chapter here, and they're working to raise awareness for child abuse. There is a motorcycle ride in Destiny's name. It's called the Destiny Ride. It's the 10th annual one, and it starts tomorrow on East Adams Street. You're going to want to get there about 9 a.m., 10 a.m., somewhere around there. The ride starts at 11 a.m., and it ends in Bloomington on South Main Street. So come on out to the Corn Crib, visit me, make a donation like those folks did to Hope for the Warriors. They are helping Central Illinois veterans here locally to get over things like PTSD, to live with PTSD, to transition back to civilian life. They even provide medical equipment. They do scholarships. They do all kinds of things here for the community. Thank you to Johns and Lexington. They are matching your donations of up to $200 this hour. Seats for Soldiers broadcast is from Johnson Lexington, preferred by their company or their customers, not insurance companies. They're awesome. Make a donation. They're going to match it up to $200. Now that brings me to Bud Light, and I'm glad that Kevin's here.
I want to bring on I just want to say in our comment section on our Facebook live stream, Jacqueline said that she donated for both. And so if you want to be like Jacqueline once again, go out to the Corn Crib or text seats to 77,000. That's seats to 77,000 to donate, just like our good friend Jacqueline.
Oh, Jacqueline, we love you. She's a loyal listener. Love her. Now, I do want to talk about Bud Light, Kev.
Yep.
Can you give us a rundown of everything that's gone on with Bud Light, starting from when they hired TikToker Dylan Mulvaney all the way to their VP in marketing on a podcast saying that the brand was too fratty, and then the boycott itself. Can you explain this for us?
Yes, so it was just around, I believe, late March, early April. Bud Light, Dylan Mulvaney posted a picture with his face on a Bud Light can, and ever since then, it has become the worst. It has become known as the worst marketing decision in the history of marketing, really. So he posted that picture. He posted himself like in a bathtub and like all this weird stuff, announcing that he was a new influencer for Bud Light. The VP of marketing then, when it started blowing up a little bit, went on a podcast and did say that she was trying to, the VP for Bud Light said that she was trying to change the brand's image from like fratty and redneck to be more quote unquote inclusive. Since then, now Bud Light has lost over $30 billion in market cap. It is obviously in every verifiable metric, whether that's sales or the amount of people that drink it, or just people who like the brand, has drastically decreased. There's been multiple attempts for the brand, as well as just Anheuser-Busch as a whole, to try to win back people. But it's just every time that they try to bring out a new marketing campaign or such, it absolutely gets destroyed. Just last week, it was Dylan Mulvaney announced that he was going to, I believe it was Peru, to escape the whatever, I'm paraphrasing the quote here, but the toxic culture of the United States because he felt unsafe. And here we are now. We have their global CEO coming out and saying that that they're really not hurting that bad, while at the same time their national CEO has gone on morning shows and said that they just want people to feel included in the Bud Light brand and practically begging people to purchase Bud Light again. Bud Light is no longer on the shelves of Costco and many people, and in the places that it is on the shelves at, it will stay on those shelves because no one is buying it.
Yes, and they're practically begging people with these rebates. They're like, "Hey, buy our beer. Like, we'll buy the beer for you. Just take it." That's what they're doing. And look, I've always been a really big drink local gal, long before it was a conservative talking point. Whenever I couldn't think of what I wanted or had the taste for, the first thing I would look for is something that I've never tried before. I'm not a big beer person. I always order a whiskey and Coke. That's just who I am, right? And there's this group of people that Bud Light lost, and I think this is why they're hurting. People, they used to say, "Just give me a Bud Light." If they couldn't think of what they wanted on the spot, they'll just say, "Just give me a Bud Light." But now people are putting thought into that. They're like, wait a second, Bud Light was actually that company that proved that they hated me. And they further proved it when their global CEO came out with a statement. And I mean, you don't say screw you to a middle America more than this guy did. So the global CEO of Bud Light came out and said, "You know what? The Bud Light sales in America, they're like 1% of the company's global sales volume. So I really don't give a hoot." That's what he practically said here, folks. And that's all I really need to know about Bud Light, Anheuser-Busch. So Anheuser-Busch's global CEO coming out with that. Kev, take on that. And then I do want to transition to Vivek Ramaswamy and Ron DeSantis tied in a national poll.
Yeah, so my take on the Bud Light, Budweiser, and everything is just I think that they're scared, and for this guy, this probably multi-billionaire, whatever, global CEO of Anheuser-Busch, he's right in terms of that it's probably not, the boycott and everything probably isn't affecting him, but it shows how jaded he is, because there have been news reports about the amount of people, usually your lower level employees. This is what I've always said too, is the people that I feel bad when it comes to this boycott, the people I feel bad for are the people that had nothing to do with the marketing decision, but are hurting because of it. Your truck drivers, the people that have everything to do with the supply chain of getting Bud Light in the manufacturing side to the shelves, everybody in between that. There have been massive layoffs. They are having to cut hours because obviously they're not as needed, if not just being fired in general. And so those are the people I feel bad for. Those people are hurting, but their CEO obviously does not care, because he's sitting in his high tower saying, "Oh, well, we're doing just fine over here. We're doing just fine." Yeah, well, the news says differently. So that's what I really feel bad about is
maybe he is doing just fine, Kevin. Maybe he is doing just fine. I'm sure he is, right? He's doing just fine. And sure, maybe their global sales aren't taking as big of a hit. But what people are suffering, okay? We have distributors. We have people who in these bottling factories lost their jobs. He does not care about those people. And you want to know, that's how I further know they don't care about him. But the original, I don't care about middle America, was hiring Dylan Mulvaney in the first place. And he just further proves it. Do you want to shift gears? Let's get your thoughts on this, Kev. Vivek Ramaswamy, we're going to try to pull up his clips here. He has tied with Ron DeSantis, I called it. They're both sitting at 12% in this national poll. Now, this national poll comes from Kaplan Strategies. It's not the best poll. I'll be honest, the Morning Consulate is the one that I kind of look at. There's a few other polls that I kind of look at that are more down the middle. But as far as likely Republican voters, it looks like they're tied at 12%, and running away with it all, Donald Trump at 48% among Republican likely voters. Now, the reason I think this is because Vivek surprised us all. He vowed to gut the administrative state. Now, I don't know if you can find that clip there, Kev, but we're going to try to pull that up where he actually comes out and says, enough's enough. We're going to gut the administration. We're going to gut the bureaucracy. And I think that's a message that Ron DeSantis has been about, but not as strongly and not as articulately, I think, as Vivek. But I'd love to get Kev's perspective because he is a Ron DeSantis fellow. So let's take a listen to Vivek here.
Coming in with a clear-sighted view, Glenn, of shutting down most of the administrative state.
How realistic is that?
Very realistic. So first of all, do it on strong legal authority. So I'm a unique combination. I don't like to brag a lot, but I'm a CEO, but I've also studied the Constitution deeply. And the Supreme Court right now shares my view of the Constitution. The U.S. president already has statutory authority. The Presidential Reorganization Act of 1977 says you can shut down redundant agencies. Well, when I look at what the DEA does and what the U.S. Marshals do, there's my legal justification for shutting down the FBI without asking Congress for permission or forgiveness.
Jeez.
You know, Chuck, there's another justification, stimulating the economy, also in that same statute. The $80 billion spent in the U.S. Department of Education, you know what? That would stimulate the economy to give it back to the people. That's my legal justification. So I understand the legal footing. By the way, what stopped Trump? The civil service protections, they said.
Correct.
Well, guess what? Read the law. Civil service protections protect against the individual firings of employees for supposedly political reasons. They do not apply to mass layoffs. And mass layoffs are absolutely what I'm bringing to Washington, D.C.
Would you lay it off, reform it, or close it down, these institutions?
Many agencies, I would just shut down the agencies. There's a certain list of other agencies where we have 75% headcount reduction plans.
Jeez.
And then there are other agencies which we move out of Washington, D.C., make people move. Many of them will volunteer not to. We save on the severance.
There you go.
All right. Well, thanks so much, Kev. And we do have a texter, and he said, Kat, you've covered people that DeSantis has hired for his campaign. Now be sure to cover Vivek. Now, Vivek, there is a Soros, George Soros. I think it was a scholarship he received.
Yeah, he got
from
when he
the
was in
brother of
college.
Soros.
When he was in college, he got a fellowship, is what it was called. So essentially, a scholarship through the older brother of George Soros, his foundation.
Yeah.
That's how
and I understand 100%. And look, folks, Vivek is definitely not my guy, right? I'm going to be voting for Donald Trump, okay? However, right, this is a scholarship. I'd love to have Vivek and be able to hear that question asked of him. I'm surprised Tucker did not ask that question. He completely obliterated Mike Pence and asked tough questions. But I'm shocked that he didn't ask him this question about the scholarship he had received. Now, this was a while ago. And George Soros, his octopus tentacles are in a lot. If you dig deep enough, you probably could find Donald Trump and him being backed by Soros in some sort of way, or having some sort of financial ties to George Soros as well. There is a lot of tentacles out there when it comes to the Soros Foundation. He's probably the richest guy on the planet. I don't know who the richest guy, but
Elon
one
Musk.
of them.
Elon Musk is the wealthiest person on the planet.
Oh, Elon Musk, our boy. But yeah, so I do want to cover that. Your thoughts on this national poll coming out?
So we do have to take a break here soon, but I will go real quick. So I have been forthright in the fact that if the election were held today, I would be a backer of Ron DeSantis. And so when I see these polls, so first thing is I take polls with a grain of salt. Somebody's paying for a poll somewhere. And so whoever's paying for it usually influences a little bit of the outcome. But I also got to give Vivek a lot of credit. So what Vivek has been doing is he has found ways to basically use a Trumpian strategy from 2016 to get his name in the headlines as much as possible. Just this last week, he came out with a list of potential Supreme Court nominees that include people like Ted Cruz. Usually presidential candidates they don't come out with Supreme Court nominees like that unless they're asked the question, and they're usually polling a lot higher than the Vivek is to even be asked that question. And that made headlines. He came out just a few months ago with that voting idea to make it so that only first responders, military, and people over 25 are allowed to vote unless you pass a citizenship test. Made headlines. He has found a way to manipulate the American media to get his name out there and increase name recognition. And I got to give him a lot of credit for it. He's really smart about it.
Yes. I agree. I think Vivek, he definitely needs credit. And I agree, to an extent, polls, right? Somebody's paying for it somewhere. But obviously, right, we believe in polls a little bit. We don't think that Mike Pence is actually going to run away with the Republican primary.
There is a manageable level of error or a believable level of error that we can trust. But again, it's a grain of salt.
Yeah, I thought it was interesting. We do have to take a break. I'm out here live at the Corn Crib, and I see all of these amazing flags, and I see beautiful Brenda over there. Brenda, she's actually from my hometown, and she is a Bloomington District 87 second grade teacher, and she's been teaching there for about 30 years, and she's out here, and she's hanging up flags. So you can come on out and hang up flags in honor of our veterans here in Central Illinois. We're raising money for Hope for the Warriors. They are a national nonprofit helping veterans transition from military life back to civilian life. And that can be a big obstacle for veterans. Just ask it. Just ask them. So we have had a lot of donations this hour. We're going to be back for our last segment of the show. You're listening to The Morning Buzz with Kat and Kev Ferris this morning. Okay, good morning. Let's get to our busy text line. So we've got, I'm to the point where I cannot stand.
I clicked it too. We clicked it at the same time. There we
go. Who is it? Stand DeSantis's voice. It's beyond whiny and annoying. And how can you support him after trying to pass off deep fakes of Trump and Fauci as real?
I don't
Did
know
they actually do that?
Never heard that one.
I'll have to check it out. No, yeah, I don't like Ron DeSantis, pal. Kev does, but we still love Kevin.
I'm gonna answer that real quick, just because people always want to know. And like, here's the thing: is there's some DeSantis people that I know that are like never Trumpers. That's not how I am. I firmly believe that. Where I lie a lot more on this is whoever wins the primary, that's who I want to support. But people ask me, what do I think about the primary? And the reason why I'm more for DeSantis is, one, I think he's more conservative than Trump. There's if you go back to 2012, Trump let a transgender into Miss Universe. This is verifiable. He let a transgender into Miss Universe and said that she had a right to be there. Not very conservative. He passed the bump stock ban, which is more gun control than Obama ever put into legislation. He also is, if you look at his personal actions, he doesn't seem to be particularly pro-life nor have such a Christian backing. And I know that there's issues with every candidate, but I really think that a lot of Trump is he will do what he needs to do to get elected. And it's not that he actually necessarily believes in a lot of the conservative ideology. And so that's why I flipped, and along with just his age, period, too. I like a younger candidate, and I think that this is one thing that a lot of people can get behind. I like a younger candidate. Trump will be an octogenarian if he were to be elected to his second term in 2024. In 2026, he would be an octogenarian. And I just don't like that. I don't like having consistently back 70 to 80-year-olds in office. I'd like to have some younger blood. That's why I've been very interested in Vivek, but how Kat has some unfounded skepticism in Ron DeSantis, I have a comparable unfounded skepticism.
Whoa. Unfounded. No. This just happened. Florida insurance premiums have soared to 206% since DeSantis became governor. So there is a big part of, and this is why DeSantis, he's polling very, very low in his own state. I think the insurance, like he's in bed with the insurance companies. I mean, these premiums have gone up. He actually signed a bill that made it impossible to go after insurance companies after a devastating hurricane. And he made it impossible for people going through that devastation. He made it impossible for them to go after those insurance companies. So as Florida grapples with the unfolding property insurance crisis, recent data shows that insurance premiums in the state has reportedly surged over 200% since Ron DeSantis won the governor's office in 2017. On average, Florida homeowners, they pay over $4,200 per year on home insurance, triple the national average. So my thing is, I think that he's in bed with a big insurance in the state of Florida. And I have some skepticism. I'm skeptical of Ron DeSantis because he's not running his state as great as everybody says when you look down into the finances of it all. And yes, he's great on domestic cultural issues. I love that about him, and he's willing to be more authoritarian in that sense. And I'm more of an authoritarian.
I mean, he's the only presidential candidate that is consistently, and obviously has more authority to do so, but has consistently gone against Disney. Even Trump said that DeSantis should back off Disney.
Yeah, no, Trump, and you're so right. The bump stocks, that's a big thing that I was super against Trump on. I think that's garbage, but yeah, we'll continue the convo. Good morning. Hey, this is the Morning Buzz. I'm out here at the Corn Crib enjoying some sunshine, watching Brenda and Chris Murphy from our sister station 107.7 The Bull, and he also does the sports here on Cities 92.9. They're hanging up flags while I'm doing the broadcast here. I plan to join them here in just a little bit, but you can come out, hang up some flags with us in support of Hope for the Warriors. Hope for the Warriors is a national nonprofit organization helping Central Illinois veterans. And look, folks, we are nowhere near our goal. I want to make over $22,000, something more than we did last year. So this is our 6th annual Seats for Soldiers that's brought to you by Jackson Accounting Plus, Four Seasons Health Club. We have Ace Hardware. We also have McLean County Asphalt, SEFQ, Miller Lite, Tentac Enterprises, the Wilbur Group. They're all making this possible for us out here. And I want to do more good, because last year we helped 30 families. I want to help 60 families, veteran families, families of the fallen. Okay, that's what Hope for the Warriors does. They do PTSD counseling. They help with medical equipment. They help with transitioning you back to civilian life after you've served this wonderful country of ours. And they specialize in helping post 9/11 veterans. So be sure to come on out, make a donation in person at the Corn Crib today. I'll be here until 6 p.m. The Corn Belters, they have their home game today at about 6:30. Baseball! I love baseball. So come on out and watch the home game. Kev Ferris joining me here on the Morning Buzz. We've been talking about Vivek Ramaswamy and Ron DeSantis. The national poll came out, and we were talking a little bit about Ron DeSantis. And, you know, we have a comment from Texter here, right? Let's get to the comment here, TK. I'm to the point where I can't stand hearing Ron DeSantis' voice. Well, that's strong. It's beyond whiny and annoying. Ooh. And how can you support him after he's trying to pass off deepfakes? I haven't heard of that story of Trump and Fauci. I guess there's a deepfake out there. Your thoughts, Kev, being that you are a Ron supporter.
Yeah, well, okay. So I don't know the deepfake story. If you send a link, if you can, or send a source for that, and I'd love to look into that a little bit more. But when it comes to Ron DeSantis, well, first off, I always try to preface this in the fact that I firmly believe what we need as a Republican Party, as conservatives, is whoever wins the primary, we all need to be all in on them, because that's the only way that we win. And so if you're a Trump person and DeSantis wins, I know that's less likely, but if that's the way that it goes, you need to be ready to get on DeSantis. And like myself, currently on the DeSantis train. But if Trump wins, I am all in on Trump. That's how we win. We need to mobilize people to do so. But in terms of right now, I mean, there's a lot of interesting things going on. Like you mentioned, there's that morning consult poll or consulate that shows that Vivek could be gaining a lot of steam against DeSantis. And this is for two main reasons. Vivek, and again, this is coming from a DeSantis supporter. First off, DeSantis has been running kind of a boring campaign. He had kind of a rocky start announcing on Twitter. And yes, he's been doing a lot of the right things in terms of going to a lot of different states, but he's not getting in the media as much. There were no real headlines about him when he did his Tucker interview in Iowa. He's been consistently second, third, fourth page news, as Vivek has been finding ways to push his name out there in every way and cause controversy. So he has his voting rights thing that he came out with, and he said that only 25-year-olds you have to pass the citizenship test or be a first responder. That's how you get to vote. First page headline news. Then you have most recently, he came out and came out with Supreme Court picks. Of course, yeah, that's kind of unfounded. Like there's no reason why he really needs to come out with Supreme Court picks. He's polling second or third at best, and yet he did it for headline news right there. He's found ways again to follow Trump's strategy and make it so that he can get his name out there. And so, yeah, I'm supporting DeSantis, but I'll be completely forthright in the fact that Vivek is running a very solid and strong campaign.
Yes, and we are getting close to a break here, folks. It's Cities 92.9. We're going to we're going to take a break here, and we're out here at the Corn Crib. If you guys want to make a donation to Hope for the Warriors, we're trying to do this 36-hour broadcast and get as many donations as possible for this nonprofit organization helping Central Illinois veterans. Again, thank you to Tentac Enterprises, Miller Lite, Wilbur Group, SEFQ for coming on as title sponsors, Tax and Accounting Plus, Four Seasons Health Club. We have McLean County Asphalt, and oh gosh, I'm missing one. Four Seasons Health Club. No, Jimmy John's. You can text the word seats, SEATS, to 77,000 to make that donation via our text line rather than in person. Well, you guys have a great rest of your day and a great weekend. I love you guys so much. You have no idea how much I love you, and thank you for your donations. It really means a lot. And be sure to come out. We'll be here until 6 p.m. today until the Corn Belters play ball.
Okay.
All right, we're out. Okay, folks, for the live stream, yes, 100%. I agree with you, Kev. We need to come together. That's what a texter said. We need to come together as Republicans. Kevin is spot on. We are ultimately on the same team. If we don't pull together, in the end, we get the candidate the left wants. What I would like to see is everybody drop out and pull their weight for Trump, just because it would suck if you won under circumstances. I mean, already we can agree that there has been election meddling going on, right?
Yeah,
Donald Trump, election meddling.
That's the entirety of the indictments, which is funny, though, because the indictments, if anything, I do not think Trump would be polling as high as he is consistently. His isn't just one poll. He's solidly between 30 and 50% in multiple polls. The only reason why he is that high is because of the indictments. If he was just running an average campaign, he'd still probably be the front runner, but I think it'd be much more of a competitive race if he hadn't been indicted.
Yeah. Well, and here's the thing: are you going to win with dignity? That's what I would ask. Ron DeSantis, Vivek, Mike Pence, Chris Christie, right? Are you cool with winning like this? Are you cool with this attack on a Republican primary candidate? If I was Vivek, if I was Ron, I would say this is crap. And I am throwing all of my support, and I'm going to get the other primary candidates to do that. Now, of course, Mike Pence, Chris Christie won't do that, but they will not garner enough support to make them a viable candidate if the other conservative candidates, Vivek, Ron, right, these other ones, and maybe even Nikki Haley.
I understand where you're coming. Right? I understand. And you might actually hold this opinion, Kat, but the thing is that I feel like that kind of mindset, while almost every conservative candidate in the race, again, so subtract your Chris Christie and your Mike Pence, all that. Every conservative candidate has come out against Trump's indictments and said that it is wrong. But to say that everybody needs to drop out, it assumes that Trump is in any way entitled to the nomination. He's not.
He is. The election was stolen.
No one is entitled to the primary nomination.
It was stolen from him. Okay. Let's put it this way. If somebody steals your wallet, Kev, are you entitled to get that back?
But you don't own a nomination like you own a wallet. You don't own that.
Yes, he owns that 2020 spot.
We the people own that. And you are only entitled to it after the primary election next year. And that's really the way it is. You're not until that day. Because here's the thing, Kat, is if somebody's entitled, you don't know who had a comparable mindset that they were entitled to a nomination. Jeb Bush, 2016. Jeb Bush felt that he was entitled to the nomination because his family had consistently, obviously, been Republicans. His brother and his father had been presidents. So you want to talk about being entitled to a nomination? Jeb Bush felt entitled to the nomination.
Well, I don't think it's so much Donald Trump is entitled to the nomination, but like you said, we the people are entitled to have Donald Trump another 4 years because we were cheated out of that in 2020.
We the people have the entitlement to vote on whoever, and so maybe that is Trump. But Trump is in no way entitled to the nomination.
We already did vote for Donald Trump for another 4 years.
In 2020, we did. In 2020, we did. 2024,
but they took it.
No, but that you're talking about a general. I'm talking about a primary candidate.
Yes.
He is not entitled because that's the whole argument with he says that he might be not going into the debate. Well, if he doesn't do that, it makes him look like he thinks that he's entitled. No, he's not entitled. He should have to go toe to toe with everybody else. While he is polling the highest, he does not get to a pass to just ignore how a primary is supposed to go. So
Mhm. All right, folks. Well, we've got to cut the live stream because I'm cooking out here. It's warm. So I gotta go and hang up these flags. Folks, text the word seats SEATS to 77,000. That's our Jimmy John's Freaky Fast text line. You guys can come out here to the Corn Crib. There's going to be a ball game tonight. Thanks, Kev, for joining me here on the Morning Buzz. Like, love, share, and be sure to follow Kev. Kev, you are great. You are great. We can agree, disagree, agree to disagree. If I had it my way, I would be an authoritarian type dictator with a right side of you. No, I'm just kidding.
I gotta let you know. Yeah, real quick. Guess who's coming to town today? It's your very own Josh Bender is coming to Normal, Illinois today. So.
Bring him out for the Corn Belter game.
I will. I'll bring him out.
Okay. All right, guys. You guys have a great rest of your day. Bye-bye. Love you.